afternoon, everyone. You're watching High School Sports Live, brought to you by the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We're proud to present the Cumberland Valley Duels. Cumberland Valley, preseason ranked number 19 in the country before being upset by Boyertown and the defending District 3 champs. Today, Cumberland Valley's coach Dave Heckards is in a doubleheader versus Manheim Central, and our first match today is against the Parkland Trojans, who are 3-0 coming into this match today. They lost a tough one to Southwestern, 26-25 in an upset. I'm with George Hartwick, the color commentator for High School Sports Live, and the expert Jeremy Elliott from Penn Live. Jeremy, I want to go to you first and say, were you surprised, and how does that affect this matchup, the fact that Southwestern upset the confidence of Parkland in this first match?
I was shocked of that outcome. It's almost like the Trojans got off the bus a little slow this morning and were sluggish, and they got upset by the Mustangs 26-25 in a match that, I mean, I wouldn't have bet anything that Southwestern would have won that match, but they had two upsets in that match that kind of turned it, a 12-point swing. Chase Mowry beat Ortman at 113 in a shocker, and then Seth Janney upset Omar Haddad, who last year was 7th in the state and who's been having a rough week. He also got upset at the Powerade, and it just turned that match on its ear, and the Mustangs credit them for gutting out a win against a real good District 11 team.
George, talk about two top-tier teams in the state and what this wrestling match will do early in the season for one of these teams if they could pull off the win here today.
Well, folks, this is why we bring this to you on High School Sports Live. Today, it's a little rainy outside. We got NFL football coming on. But let me tell you, in Pennsylvania, and this matchup is going to be something you want to strap yourself in for. Parkland, Cumberland Valley, two perennial statewide presence, both with something to prove. Parkland last year losing a couple of seniors, trying to reestablish themselves as one of the state's top teams. Cumberland Valley with an early defeat. But I'm going to tell you, today's an interesting matchup. We ask you to get your popcorn. We ask you to strap in prior to watching the NFL, because we assure you we have something special for you coming up next. Parkland versus Cumberland Valley to establish presence in who's going to be one of the state's elite wrestling teams during the dual meet season.
And before we get to that, I want to ask Jeremy Elliott. Jeremy, duels are different, and our fans at home need to know. These wrestlers are going into this match, already wrestled a couple of times, and will wrestle 5 times in one day. What does that endurance test do, and who does that favor in this Parkland versus Cumberland Valley matchup?
I think it favors Cumberland Valley in this particular matchup. Last week they had a dual meet against Boyertown, but only really wrestled once. They could prepare for this grueling, 5-match day, whereas Parkland was out at the Powerade. And if you've been to the Powerade, it's one of the top tournaments in the country. It's the best of the best in the state of Pennsylvania. And also top teams from around the country make the trek into the Pittsburgh area. So I would say, and it showed in that early loss. I think maybe, again, Parkland was a little sluggish. I think this all favors CV, and we'll see what happens.
All right, fans, Cumberland Valley Eagles versus the Parkland Trojans. We'll be back in a few minutes. You're watching High School Sports Live Wrestling on 27 News.
Hey guys, just in time.
When Julie wanted to provide some stability for her 2 boys, she reached out to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for her home loan. We're proud we could help Julie and her family. If you're looking for an affordable home loan or refinancing option, give us a call. We offer down payment and closing cost assistance too. Call us weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or check our website. We're the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We help homeownership dreams come true.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support High School Sports Live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike, Mechanicsburg, and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years. Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan.
You're back at Cumberland Valley High School Duels. This is the matchup of the day, the one we've been waiting for. The Cumberland Valley Eagles, 2-0 today. I believe 5-1 overall, facing a Parkland Trojans that came in 3-0 today but got upset 1-1 the first match. George, Jeremy, let's talk about it.
Well, I was shocked that Southwestern was able to beat Parkland. It was to me, a major upset. They got 2 key wins there at 113 and 220. Maori got past Ortman in 7-5, and then Seth Janney beat Omar Haddad, who was 7th in the state last year, 3-1. That's a 12-point swing, so I'm sure Coach Nonamaker, none too happy with his team, and might have said something during the break.
Well, right now, Jacob Lezak out to a 2-0 lead over Jake Barrick, now earning at least 3 back points, out to now a 5-0 lead. Early takedown, immediately arm trap, and in a position again to score off of that same tilt situation. He's going to try to bump him off his hip, now turning him. Referee Bob Durr, probably the best referee in the business, does national championships, NCAA Division I every year. Not a better guy positioned to make the calls and to make them right in this match.
And whenever you're going to put a match live on TV like this, it helps to have an experienced official. Bob was great to work with before the match, as we had to start this one 5 minutes later, and that's always tough on wrestlers to have to wait after they've already warmed up.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something. Right now, Lezak isn't going to make us wait at all. He's turned Barrick into a potentially pinned situation right here. If not, he's going to earn an additional 3 near fall, which makes it, with 30 seconds to go in the first period, I believe that makes it now, what, 12?
11.
11-0?
Jacob Lezak finished 6th at last week's Powerade. Very good wrestler, good genes. We all remember Ethan Lezak, state placer.
Yep.
So, you know, this although Barracks wrestled well earlier today. I mean, he wrestled, I believe, Culp for Exeter, and really made things difficult. But Lezak just looks really impressive here.
He looks stout, too, for a 126-pounder, I'm going to tell you that. It appears that Barrick is a long kid, which can make things a long day for folks who aren't able to deal with that kind of leverage. But so far, Lezak maintaining control until now. Barrick with a roll-through stand-up, earning a 1-point neutral situation with 15 seconds to go in the first period. Both guys locked in here, probably pretty content to move out of bounds.
George, talk for our viewers at home. Talk about the point system, how it works, tech falls as compared to pins and the points and the point spreads of each match, how it works.
Well, that's a pretty long discussion. I mean, the first thing is when you take somebody down from their feet to the mat, it's 2 points. When you are on the mat, you want to put your opponent in a position where their shoulders are at least 45 degrees towards the mat, and then you count. If you earn a 2 count in that position, you earn 2 points. If you earn a 5 count, you earn 3 points. Earn an escape. Pins are worth 16 points. Technical falls are worth 15 points. Major decision, which means you win by 8 points or more.
Right.
There's 14 points, and just for a regular decision, it's 3 team points. That's how the team scoring goes.
Yeah, and that in the last 10 years, how has that point system evolved, or has it been consistent? To the wrestler at home, they're not keeping up with these rule changes.
That one's been pretty consistent. The team scoring aspect of it has been consistent. There's been many technical changes, so if you see something happening out here that used to happen when you wrestled, a lot of these rules have been implemented because of safety and other issues. There are some purists that don't like to see that as an official. I was always very harsh on the rules committee about things that I felt were a little bit it's about wrestling. It's a tough sport. You don't want to see anybody get injured, but you also don't want to take the toughness out of the sport either. And trying to keep that balance, I think they've done it particularly well with weight control. That's something the Rules Committee has gotten right.
The descent programs really helped with that. It doesn't allow wrestlers to drop 8 to 10 pounds in 3 days, like the rubber suits and all the things that were safety issues. Now they have descent programs, and it kind of, I think, takes some of that out of the equation and makes the sport safer. In this match here, you were talking about the team points. Parkland needs 6 here, at the very least 5 with a tech fall, meaning he has to win by 15 on the scoreboard here. To not get 5 or 6 here is a win for CV.
Well, it looks like Lezak's on his way to at least 5. He needs to earn at least 2 more near fall points in order to be there at a technical fall.
And I have something to share with you guys. I have a son, Adam, who wrestled for CD when he was a sophomore in the district championships. And guess who he got a chance to wrestle? Napoli, okay? Whole country talks about this guy. And here my son, a sophomore, gets thrown in to wrestle Napoli, and it was like a win when he got tech fauled and didn't get pinned. So I know what you're talking about there. Just that's close to home.
There are many moral victories you can have. You don't want to ever be looking at the lights, and you want to wrestle through the end of the match, but trying to save any key bonus points in a match this close is going to be critical to the outcome, where Lezak right now looks like he's in a position, and he's going to want to try to finish here, as you can see. And once you come out of that pinning position, that should end the match right there.
What are some of the tactics?
That'll end the match. It should be a technical fall.
I'm curious, what are some of the tactics some of these wrestlers? They know they're going to lose, but they want to get tech fall. What do they do to avoid pins? What are some of those tactics?
Well, you don't want to stall. But clearly there's a lot of things you can do to stay off the back.
All right, well, we'll talk about that more in a bit. We're going to have a break, and we'll be back with more wrestling.
You already know your Giant bonus card is a great way to bag real savings on groceries. But it does so much more, like helping you pump up your fuel discount with Gas Extra Rewards. Just by using your Giant bonus card, you'll save 10 cents per gallon for every $100 you spend. So the more you buy, the more you save. Gas Extra Rewards, fueled by Giant.
We're back here at Cumberland Valley Gym at the 132-pound weight class, where we've got a matchup between Jan Konic and Parker Hilliard. Another key toss-up match here. 132. Hilliard coming in here, I believe, prior to today, had a 7-5 record. He's a junior from Cumberland Valley. Parkland, a senior. And Yaknanicic, that's a full name there, Yaknanicic.
Say that 4 times fast.
With a Croatian background, I get in trouble if I don't get that right.
Well, being from Stilton, I understand that pressure.
So Yaknanicic right now in a position to try to get a takedown. Leg trapped underneath, nothing been awarded, rightfully so, by the official. There's been no clear control earned. In order to get that one earned, he has to stick that inside leg in, and had not done it. And to be honest, we are still out right on top of it. Bob Durham making the right call. You got to hook that inside leg, plus clear the head and the arm.
That actually could have went either way.
Yeah, could've.
Along the edge. Once he had his leg trapped, he kind of tried to roll over, and Hiller could have
Stayed
caught
square.
him.
Yep.
Yeah, could have caught him.
And help me out, guys, here. I would think that a good official, when it's give or take or close like that, would want to put the wrestlers back on the match to decide it, rather than give points. Or is it cut and dry?
No, what they should be is patient until points are earned. And once points are earned, you want to award them, because sometimes somebody can come out of it really quick too.
Okay.
You want to figure out until the control is established. Once it is, you earn the points and you go as the wrestlers dictate you go. I don't think there's any rules as to, you want to make sure they're earned. Once they are, you award them, and then you award what else happens next.
And good officials will also wave them off if they give them. Saw that a lot at the Powerade last week. The main thing is get it right. Get it right.
In other sports, there's more than one official. In wrestling, often, until you get to the playoffs and whatnot, the matches and whatever, you're
Dual
dealing
meets
with
are
one
single official, and then all postseason there's 2 officials on the mat. End of the first period with a 0-0 score. Janicic versus Hilliard at 132 here at Cumberland Valley Gym. And again, a rainy day at home, able to enjoy some really quality wrestling. 132, these are sometimes the matchups that make or break. It may not be the premier matchups, but these are the matches that make or break the overall match.
They're the swing matches. And let's face it, this is a 6-point swing either way.
Right now, again, we've got a 5-0 lead from Parkland in the team score right now. Janicic is up 1-0 with 1:36 remaining in the second period.
Parkland 5-0 out early after a tech fall in the first matchup.
Both guys feeling each other out, squaring each other up. Not a whole lot of action. There's outside single attempt. Come back for a double leg.
That's nice. Nice little dump there. He's got to finish it, though.
And Hilliard has his ankles trapped, which is he needs to get him free. Once he gets him freed up, he's in a clear position to finish here. But referee will not award it with the funk. Still locked on the outside. Not a great position to be in, but not allowing any control. And there it is.
Yankanich really worked the side there, then hopped over. I think once he hopped over, it threw Hilliard off, and he was able to get behind him for the 2.
Was not able to get the arm between the leg in the right position, just barely holding on. Was able to circle around for 2. 3-0. 132. 30 seconds remaining in the second period.
Jeremy, talk about where this match is going to most likely favor Cumberland Valley and where they're going to be able to put some pressure on Parkland.
Well, 152, 16, really 152 all the way up to 195. You have both Dugans in there. Patrick, obviously, a 3-time state placer. He's the hammer of this whole team. And then you have his brother, Francis, at 195, one of the highly touted freshmen coming in this year. And Trent Cook's probably going to settle in at 182. Chalice has also been impressive at 170. Right there is where I think they'll do most of their damage in this match.
And fans coming up after the game between this match and the Manheim Central match, we're going to have some great commentary from Jeremy Elliott talking about Powerade, Beast of the East, and all the great tournaments that happened over the last 3 weeks.
Right now, 3-0 lead still for Yankanich from Parkland. Hilliard selecting the defensive position moving into the third period. Still a close toss-up match. First 30 seconds of this final period going to be really important for Hilliard to try to establish some sort of momentum and put some points on the board.
I have to confess, guys, my 1.5 year of wrestling career when I was in first and second grade, I always chose the bottom for some reason.
Well,
I wanted to be on the bottom.
You don't want to be there for long, Charlie. That's the key.
Maybe that's why I quit after 2 years.
You got to get ahead off the match, and Hilliard showed you a way to create some space, get the arm between the body, and has earned 1 point neutral right now, trying to figure out a way to knot the match up. Needs a takedown to do so in this pivotal match here early on at 132.
I was surprised he was able to get out that early. He struggled in the second period after getting taken down, getting off the bottom, but boy, he hopped up there.
Well, again, it looks like Yankanich has a really nice throw by. He just can't get that inside hook for the leg hook for the Oklahoma. And actually, to his credit, Hilliard had the ability to have great reaction time and square him off both times.
You know, having watched Cumberland Valley over the last 9 years, it just seems like there's a toughness that Coach Eckert instills in these players, or wrestlers, I should say. I'm in another sport, but I've been watching too many football games lately. I think we all have been, but man, there's a toughness here at Cumberland Valley, Jeremy.
There is. I am concerned a little bit this year because even in the earlier matches that I saw today, you know, they need that extra point for a tech fall or that extra move for a pin, and they're not getting it. I agree with the toughness aspect. They always wrestle tough because I don't think you want to face Dave's wrath in the wrestling room. Probably have to run a little more. But I am concerned about this team a little bit. Have left some points or some bonus points on the mat, and you never want to do that.
Right there was a perfect example. Hilliard finally getting aggressive with just under a minute to go, and clearly now with 25 seconds has to press. I mean, again, long guy. He's probably going to shoot from the outside, has done it. Just don't know why you don't do that all match. Do you hear me?
Well, and that's what I'm getting at.
Actually missed the locked hands there.
And that's what I'm getting at. Doesn't do it enough.
He's got to be careful here. He will be called for stalling if he doesn't move up on that leg. Bob Durr has very little tolerance for this. Right there he did call it. 2 seconds remaining. It's just a warning. And again, why
wait so late?
You shouldn't wait that late. That was a clear execution of a good takedown. Squared him up, came across to a double. Now needs to hold him down for 2 seconds to go into a 1 minute sudden death period.
Wow, this is all we cracked up to be here, guys.
When you go into sudden death again, you got 1 minute, and it's the first point that's scored. So first takedown here wins, or if there's a penalty point, it also will end the match. But
almost seems like a match that's supposed to be this close. A match like this almost could decide the mental edge of the whole match. Well, which team's going to give it that extra?
We talked about it being one of the most important matchups early, and this is going to set the tone. And again, Where has that been from Hilliard the whole time? When he presses, he looks like he's clearly in a better position.
Yeah, I
doesn't
think
look
he's a
tired.
better wrestler.
So do I. Got to get confidence and go.
Mom probably waved her wand in the stands. I'm not feeding you tonight, young man. If you don't.
Well,
Sometimes moms do motivate you.
Charlie, as tall as he is, he's not eating much. At 126.
I'm glad I never picked this sport.
It's really hard. Not only do you have to work
I never missed
hard.
a meal, guys.
I really didn't have too many. Here it is, right at the edge, trying to score. Wasn't able to do it. 11 seconds to go, out of bounds, still 3-3. First 1 minute sudden death overtime period.
And that length could come into play along the edge. Can stretch more, keep the feet in, possible takedown.
By the way,
opportunity.
Bob Durr just evened up the stalling calls. Hilliard has been the aggressor, and he was awarded there. Both guys have stalling warnings coming into these two 30-second periods. That could prove to be really important.
Yeah, you don't want to lose on
None
the
of
stall
Mick are
call.
none too happy with that.
No, not so close to the end. I think is probably what he's displeased with.
So the second half of the overtime, they get a chance to choose the down position.
Yep, there's a coin flip, and then you get the choice of top, bottom, or defer. And in this case, who did win that coin flip?
I missed
Green?
it.
It looks like green.
Yes, and on the bottom, he's got to get out.
So
You're 14 seconds.
Hilliard just trying to hold on. With those legs in, it's going to be tough. He's got close to that figure four up top.
We're down to 6 seconds. Hilliard have the same opportunity next.
Figure four and above that knee. Which means no score after the first 30-second period. Again, these two 30-second periods, it's the cumulative score of those 2 30 seconds that determine the winner. So you continue to keep wrestling throughout both 30 seconds.
This is a mental thing. This is all toughness and mental. You got to get off the bottom line. This isn't, I don't even think this is technique as much as it is just, you're not going to hold me down. I'm going to hold you down.
And also your conditioning is key.
Yes,
as well.
conditioning is key.
Oh, and this locked hands again there too.
He's got to bring him down to the mat to avoid a stall call.
We have 10
There it is.
seconds.
No, it's not. He didn't
Not
get
yet.
away.
Nope. Way to hold on.
He's got to lift
There
him
it is.
up.
He got out. What a critical move. 2 seconds. Actually, he gives up at the end. I'm surprised to see that. What an end right there, Hilliard.
We'll be back after this with more excitement at Cumberland Valley.
You already know your Giant bonus card is a great way to bag real savings on groceries. But it does so much more, like helping you pump up your fuel discount with Gas Extra Rewards. Just by using your Giant bonus card, you'll save 10 cents per gallon for every $100 you spend. So the more you buy, the more you save. Gas Extra Rewards, fueled by Giant.
Welcome back to Cumberland Valley. What a match. We talked about it being a toss-up. In the second 30-second overtime, a 4-3 victory by Hilliard over Yankanich. Right now at 138, we've got Lee Tedora and we've got Ryan Wolf. A matchup of two solid quality wrestlers, both guys experienced. I know we've got, Jeremy, I know you have a little bit of background on Tedora, and we've all seen Wolf now improve and get better over the years. Really early on starter for Cumberland Valley and somebody who they've begun to rely on as a solid part of their team. Finds himself in a difficult position right now, though, early against Tedora.
Well, Tedora came over from Bethlehem Catholic, and I think anybody that follows high school wrestling in this state knows who Bethlehem Catholic is. Class AA perennial power, now moved up to AAA this year, which I can't wait for them to get to individual states and face AAA
Franklin
competition. Well, there's even more than Franklin this year. Bell Vernon just beat Franklin Regional last week, or 2 weeks ago, which was a shock. But I wouldn't sleep on the Panthers at all.
And Jeremy, before the match, you talked a lot in our discussions about, and you'll probably be talking after the match about how District 1 has impressed you this year.
I'm going to go so far as to say I think District 1's better and surpassed District 3. That won't be a popular statement, but it's the truth. From what I've seen this year through King of the Mountain, early season results, Beast of the East, and also even last week, District 1, second in the state.
Well, I want to thank you for that comment because our Twitter just blew up. We got a lot of advertisements right now.
Either that or they're taken away.
Well, the point is the facts are the facts, and one thing about wrestling, it's hard to argue what the actual evidence is by what people do on the mat. And so far this year, I'd have to agree with you, Jeremy. We'll see what kind of heart in the middle of this lineup Ryan Wolf will show against Lee Tedora, because again, this is one they have to keep relatively close. If it's, again, major bonus points with a quality wrestler, even against a guy like Lee Tedora, this is an area where you need to keep the momentum alive after that last key victory.
Well, and he needs to do what Hilliard did. Hilliard came out early, kind of got overwhelmed, and then he woke up at the end. But Wolf seemed he's going to need to wake up a little earlier here.
Lee Tedora makes it tough. Like I said, he wasn't one of the studs in that Bethlehem Catholic lineup, but he was a nice fit in there. I don't know how he'd fare in that lineup this year. Bethlehem Catholic kind of reloads, so I don't. The Hawks aren't missing him, but it's nice to see him come over to Parkland and see what he can do there.
Well, we see with an early season record, it's awful deceiving when you do Powerade and you
go to the Powerade.
But 3-3 coming in here today, and certainly a better quality wrestler than what his record may indicate, as a lot of these guys are. They get their experienced legs underneath them and hopefully start to establish who they are for the regular season following those difficult tournaments.
Yeah, you have to remember last week's Powerade 138 had Sam Crevis, Cameron Coy, two state champs. So he was definitely in one of the tougher weight classes last week.
And what is an event like Powerade and Beast of the East? You're getting 6-7 matches in a 2-day.
You hope to.
Well, you hope to in a 2-day period. What kind
of
advantage does that give the wrestlers and the schools that take their wrestlers to those events?
Well, it's a measuring stick.
Yeah, you wrestle to the level of your competition. If you're going to wrestle people to beat them, technical fall them all year long without finding out who you can measure up to and who's the best, you're only providing yourself some sort of false hope until you're able to see what kind of talent. I mean, you're only as good as the talent that's in your wrestling room and who you match up with every week. And you want to find an opportunity to wrestle the best so you can measure where you're at and know how much better you need to get in order to compete at that level.
And some schools, don't have as good of a wrestling room, so those matches and those find that competition probably is more important even for some of those.
Well, I was an example of that at Steel High. We had not too many people on our team. Every night I spent wrestling either Cumberland Valley, Cedar Cliff, at that time Susquehanna High School with the Rawls brothers. I mean, you have to go where the competition is in order to get better.
And I do remember you grabbing a few of us basketball players and grabbing us and throwing us to the mat, since you guys had your wrestling room with just a little curtain separating us at the end of the gym. I will say that live on TV, bro.
That's because he didn't like basketball. That's all it was.
Being from Steel, you didn't get close to the wrestling match. You got your butt whooped.
I would say you got cut from the team, and that's why. But that's not true. You won the foul shooting contest at Catholic school. I will go on the record as saying that, George.
It goes to say, Charlie, that if you're not good at something, you shouldn't stay out for it. I shouldn't have got a trophy for not being able to touch the net at Steel High. And I found a sport that changed my life that I'm still engaged and involved with. We should reward people for what they're good at.
Chin, get your arm on that chin.
3-0 still. Lee Tedora here in control.
The way it started out, I'm surprised the score is still this close.
Well, I mean, Tedora is just content so far to hang on. Not a whole lot of offense at all.
He needs to kick it up.
To be honest, I'm surprised Wolf is not really going to be a little bit more aggressive. Tedora has not shown me a lot of confidence.
He looks tired. I mean, I could be reading it wrong, but he looks a little tired.
He's not in bad position, but he's certainly not pressing the action.
Again, that's what we talked about in the pregame, Jeremy, is for some wrestlers and some teams, this 5-match setup in one day can affect a wrestler in a third match differently than another.
I don't think it should affect him as much in a third match. I'd say maybe because they had a lunch break. I'm thinking maybe in the fifth. Yep. But I mean, he shouldn't have. It shouldn't be this body.
Depends on what they had for lunch.
That's a good point.
And not only that, Charlie, this is a big match. You got to go here. You want your wrestlers right now to push to every limit of their capacity. I mean, we talked about this being a big matchup. This is one where Wolf can go out and say, hey, I measured up to some great competition, and I was able to step up for the team and help them win. Right now, they both look content to sort of wrestle this out. Tedora, quite frankly, is not doing a whole lot, hooking a leg in, hook and an elbow. He's got to work and bump the guy to his hip and figure out a way to turn him, or I will tell you, but for almost certain, Bob Durr won't let him hang there with both legs in under both arms all day long.
Now, right now, it's a 3-point win. If Parkland goes on at the 3-0 score, what do they have to do now to make that point spread a little more? An 8-point spread, George, or a 5-point spread to make that score different?
Right now, actually, the point score, the score is going to be 5-3.
Okay.
Right? So right now, if any decision would affect the outcome. 3 points would put Cumberland Valley in the lead by 1, or it would put Parkland up by, what?
5.
Right.
But he needs more. Parkland got beat by Southwestern. You really gotta, pick up the intensity here, and because Cumberland Valley, once you hit 145, Felix Belga next, this is where they're going to do their damage. You better have more than a 5-point lead.
I'm really surprised that Bob Durr has let this go as long as he has. Now, Tadura in a potential near side cradle pinning position. This could be a big swing right here. He gets planted. And he's got him in good position.
Ooh.
Does get 3.
And that'll change the point.
It will not. It has to be 8.
It has to be 8, right? 8.
Yep.
Yeah, because I talked to a lot of viewers at home with the people that watch wrestling. I'm amazed at how many people don't understand that scoring system. That's why I want to keep emphasizing it here.
He's got to turn him again. Bottom line, he's got to turn him to get the major. They need as many points as they can in this area. Otherwise, they're going to get blown off the mat. Hey,
and stay tuned for the Brenner family of dealerships wrestler of the match. Brenner is a big supporter of Cumberland Valley. Right down the street, you will see our choice. We'll have a vote. I will defer to you two gentlemen who are experts in this field, and let's see what happens. But it'll be the Brenner family of dealerships wrestler of the match. And also stay tuned for the Capital Region Insurance Agency move of the match.
Tadura grinding out a 6-0 victory. 3 points. Again, 8-3 lead as we go out for Parkland High School. Coming up next, big matchup, 145. One of the matchups of today we're looking forward to.
Ruff Tractor and Equipment is PA's full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction along with other leading manufacturers. Ruff Tractor celebrates its 55th year in business, serving the total sales, rental parts, and service needs of its customers. Ruff Tractor paves the way for your project from start to finish, featuring the latest parts and equipment from Case Construction and more. Ruff also offers 24/7 job site support. Ruff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
We're back, Cumberland Valley Gym. We've got a matchup that's going to be a good one between Felix Belga, who has been somebody and a phenom since a freshman. He's been wrestling really tough early on this year, versus Anthony Chidiak from Parkland High School.
I'll tell you what, you get an A for pronouncing those names, and I was an English major. Those were some toughies.
Well, both guys coming in here. Chidiak, a senior, he was undefeated coming in. I still think he's maintained that record. Was not a competitor in the Powerade, but right now is being schooled early by Belga, who's looking to earn bonus points right away, and does. Wow, that's a statement.
And Bob Durr did not waste any time, and we're not going to waste any time. We'll be back, Cumberland Valley High School, right after these messages.
The Advanced Hoops basketball program has professional skill training. Advanced Hoops is unique as we offer professional point guard and dribbling with Gerald Jarman.
As a former point guard at the University of Richmond, I led one of the greatest upsets ever against Syracuse in 1991. I get more fulfillment out of teaching young athletes the things that I learned and the keys that I learned, both in college and professionally.
Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction is amazing. He's helped many high-level players get a great shooting foundation for the college level.
It is. Back at Cumberland Valley Gym. We now have Cumberland Valley, as a result of Felix Belga's pin, 6 points for the team, move into the lead for the first time today at 9-8. In this matchup, right now at 152 pounds, we've got Rob Weatherhold from Parkland, and from Cumberland Valley, we've got Quentin Milliken.
Milliken's a pretty good freshman.
Tell you what, guys, when the pin happens, it's like in baseball when somebody hits a triple as compared to knocking a guy in or walking or running.
Well, it's a home run.
Or it's a grand slam.
Yep. So interesting matchup here.
Milliken's a pretty tough freshman. I like him. Comes in at a higher weight. Normally you see freshmen come in at that 106, 113.
I'll tell you what, Weatherholt is put together.
Well, you're getting into that weight class now where you're going to see some kids who are built.
They don't have to. Well, maybe they do have to cut a few meals, but they.
Oh, they did. I mean, this is where I'd start. I'd start out a football season at 180, cut down to 152. You can't do that these days.
No.
I'd play football up at 180 and then cut down to 140 for wrestling, and it was difficult. But
Yeah,
starting out every year at 152, the current weight loss plan wouldn't allow you to do that.
And I do remember your football career. It usually took you to the 6th or 7th game before you started actually making any tackles. Now that explains it.
All right, Charlie. Why? Because I had to gain weight as a middle linebacker.
We have a nice crowd on hand here. At one point, I'm sure we'll get a nice shot of the crowd. We have a special treat in between the games. Dr. Brian Bixler from OSSL is going to join us just for a few minutes and talk about the kind of injuries you see in wrestling as compared to other sports, which I'm sure you've had your share.
I have. On days like today, I feel them all the time.
Well, and I wasn't referring to the head injuries. I was referring to the
Well, we did have a head injury earlier, though. Russell Zimmerman, the 106-pounder for Cumberland Valley, suffered a head injury in the first match against Exeter. So that could come into play here as well.
They do occur. A lot of banging of heads.
Well, his was he was thrown into the wall and earned the disqualification win.
So the kid was tossed.
Yeah, he was. Well, yeah, they have it. It was along the wall on the left side of the gym. They have a pad up, but they got close to it and
he jammed him in.
And he jammed him in. The penalty point, and then he couldn't continue. So then there was the disqualification in CV's favor.
Hey, our next broadcast, guys, is this Tuesday, January 6th at Central Dauphin High School against CD East and Central Dauphin. A typical rivalry we do in basketball on High School Sports Live. And George, you have a daughter that plays for Central Dauphin, so I'm going to have you sit in the stands and not commentate during that one. I hope
just
that's
make
okay.
sure there's no fans on me because it's been a tough year for CD so far. And under the tutelage of Larry Moore, CD East has become the top girls team to beat in Central Pennsylvania and statewide.
And speaking of Cumberland Valley being here, the Cumberland Valley girls ranked 1 in the state. The CD East girls quickly got themselves on the national scene by winning that game. Nobody thought it would happen.
I was here, the CD versus Cumberland Valley game, and Cumberland Valley hammered CD. I went to the CD East versus Cumberland Valley game. CD East handled Cumberland Valley.
Handled. I would say handled because at that particular game, they pretty much led the whole way, but naturally Cumberland Valley has a lot of tools and talent, and when there's shots going in, it's hard to beat them, but it's nice to see that rivalry in the Mid-Penn Commonwealth in girls basketball. I think Cumberland Valley needs that for the state stage as well.
Well, Larry Moore teaches defense. Speaking of defense, there's been a lot of it in this match. Still 1-0 lead.
Hey, what could I do, guys? I mean, I know I'm a little heavier, and if I got thrown out there in that match right now, Jeremy, you think I have a chance? I got 50 pounds. I got 50, 70 pounds on these guys. What do you think they'd do to me, guys?
I think they'd wrap you up and pin you within 2 minutes.
Or less.
You know what? That would be we would get so much more viewership on High School Sports Live if I would volunteer to do like an intermission wrestle against one of the.
Yeah, but I don't want to see you in a singlet.
Well, no, I was just going to keep the outfit on, and keep warm while I'm getting beat up,
That sweater might be worse than the singlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Weatherholt in on a double. Stalemate.
Milliken forces a stalemate, gets out of that bad position.
Tall, lanky.
Yep. You know how I like that. I said that last year. I'll take a bunch of lanky wrestlers over, chiseled wrestlers any day of the week.
I used to salivate on the bigger and the stronger they looked, the easier my day was. The longer and skinnier they were, the more work I had in store. It's always been the case.
They can throw in legs. They can reach around and grab your, when you're in on a shot, they can reach around and bail out by grabbing your ankles. Yep. Saw that a lot last week at the Powerade.
What was in this match here, guys? You've been following these wrestlers. What was expected, and what are we looking at here for? What does Parkland need to do?
hoping that we'd have a little bit more offense, but two evenly matched kids, one freshman, one senior, on both ends of their career. One's finishing out his career, the other one has a promising career, and these are the kinds of matches that you win against a quality opponent that really boosts your confidence and your ability to achieve for your team. So I think a lot to gain here by Milliken if he actually is able to pull this off. And as a senior coming in, you want to make sure that you're doing all you can in order to support your team. And Weatherholt, obviously well built, a solid kid, looking to try to give his team an edge here, down 9-8. But is not going to do so. Looks like he's going to give up some near fall points. Hanging on to the leg. Right now, nothing's been earned. Nothing's been earned. But really working that tight waist well, using his leverage. We're talking about it. He's got to get that leg unhooked, though.
And that's experienced by Weatherholt.
Yep.
Grabbing onto that leg, fighting off the near fall points.
And what he needs to do here is obviously create some space.
And
he's doing it. Actually, look how the length of Milliken stays on, stays around. By all intents and purposes, Weatherholt should have been out of that. Create some space and move.
And most times he would have been. But Milliken, so long, can just reach around and maintain control.
Now again, right back into a tilt situation. Trying to work. What you notice by the freshman keeping hips tight. You see that? There he goes. He's earned two. And he's continuing to drive forward, forcing all of his weight onto Weatherholt.
Milliken's impressive.
Yeah, well, he's carrying all the weight. He's maintaining control of the hips. Continues now to keep all the weight on the top of the head. It gets tough to beat yourself up and continue to push yourself and the other guy's weight up off the mat for a 2-minute period. Finding himself again on his back. Bob Dirk counting more back points. 2 more for Milliken. And again, impressive freshman, finishing strong.
Not only finishing strong, technique-wise, pushing forward. A lot of guys don't push forward. I see 25 in a match that not pushing forward constantly. It's an impressive. It's going to be an impressive victory for Milliken here.
I tell you what, Cumberland Valley has a bright future. You got Milliken, then you got the young Dugan as freshman. These are two stout wrestlers to build off of. Yep. We'll see Dugan in a little bit.
With that victory, 5-0 by freshman Milliken, Cumberland Valley jumps out to a 12-8 lead over Parkland. We'll be back at Cumberland Valley Gym.
PAC Financial, helping local families build, manage, and protect their retirement savings. Do you have a game plan for retirement? Steve Marazzo is a local advisor who listens and cares. No account too small or too large. Call Steve Marazzo at 717-564-6400 and ask about the free, no-obligation retirement projection.
Here, or Kyer. We're back in Cumberland Valley Gym right now at the 170-pound weight class. I think they need to switch it, right?
Yeah, it's 160.
Well, 160-pound weight class where we've got from Parkland, Ibrahim Kyer, and from Cumberland Valley, Patrick Dugan.
Yeah, and Patrick Dugan, I'll tell you what, he looks put together, but he looks a lot sleeker than the last two guys that were out there from a weight standpoint. It's interesting.
Well, that's because he's actually naturally a 152-pounder, and he's wrestling up here at 160, but wasting no time trying to earn immediate bonus points. This is a must-have for Cumberland Valley, and it is. Patrick Dugan doing his job, asserting himself as one of the state's top wrestlers, earning another 6 points for Cumberland Valley.
PAC Financial, helping local families build, manage, and protect their retirement savings. Do you have a game plan for retirement? Steve Marazzo is a local advisor who listens and cares. No account too small or too large. Call Steve Marazzo at 717-564-6400 and ask about the free, no-obligation retirement projection.
Back here at Cumberland Valley Gym, where Patrick Dugan just has provided a little bit of space for Cumberland Valley with a pin score, make the match score 18-8 with a 40-second pin. Coming up right now for Parkland, it is Frank Guida, and Cumberland Valley, it is Jacob Shallis of the famous Shallis last name. Guida coming in as a sophomore, impressive sophomore. Came into today with a 7-2 record. He looks like he's put together as a sophomore, too. I wouldn't doubt he'd be on the football field as well. Immediately with the takedown over Chalice, elects to go to the neutral position, right back on the attack.
It's going after him, and he needs to. I mean, Patrick Dugan, 42nd pin, really provided some space. Expected it. Patrick's ranked in the top 10 in the country. So, you know, you expect you have a kid ranked in the top 10 in the country, going to West Virginia. That's where he's going to continue his wrestling career. You expect 6. He delivered.
Key point here for Chalice in this match as well. Again, Cumberland Valley wants to keep the momentum up. He staved off an early aggressive attack, only gave up 1 takedown. Still in the match trying to block. Right now gets dumped down. 4-1 lead for Guida. For those of you who don't know, that was a nice pirouette where they both tried to reach back, and then Guida decided to come with a hungry crossface and force Chalice down to his back right now, trying to switch it over the top. That makes your nose a little stuffy.
Other than Dugan, I think Guida's been the most aggressive wrestler out here so far.
I agree.
How important for Parkland is it that they get 6 here, guys?
They have to. They have no chance of winning this match if they don't get 6 here.
Got to be careful with the way he's running that bar. Got to take it across the back, not over the top. He's going to probably switch it out. There it is.
I can imagine this move hurts looking at the face of Chalice.
Yep. Now what he's going to try to do is trap both arms underneath and stick Chalice up on the back of his neck, trying to flatten out both shoulders. He's going to sit out completely as long as he secure the arms. You got to get his neck and shoulders down the mat. Ran out of time. Now Guida up 7-1 on Chalice.
That's only after period 1.
Yeah, Chalice lucky that period ran out of time.
Guida knows how important this is. You can tell by the intensity and his effort. He knows how important this pin is to the team.
And again, Guida only a sophomore.
Went for the hip toss there into a headlock and just missed it.
Now again, trying to create space, does. Earns a neutral, 1 point, continues to attack. 8-1 lead, 1:45 remaining in the second period. Parkland desperately needing points here. And bonus points. Nice little throw by Chalice. Again, Guida on the attack. Chalice strictly a defensive wrestler, it appears. Hey, there's a first bit of offense. You always jinx yourself. The first time you say it, they go.
Yeah, then they go.
Front headlock situation. Chalice looking for the out-of-bounds line. (8-1) Frank Guida. Again on the attack. A little too aggressive. Good throw by Chalice again. Defensive. Good hips. Way to use Guida's momentum against him. A little bit of a throw by. Guida now spins, creates some space. Looking to try to get his arm between the body. Unsuccessful in doing it. Chalice keeping his hips tight, throwing double boots in over the top.
I thought Guida there could have reached back and maybe gotten the head. I think he just missed it, and that would have obviously that might have changed this ride. Could have been a pin.
What folks don't know, all you need to do is create that space and get your arm between the body.
I'll tell you what, Chalice is hanging in there, guys, and making this a lot more competitive than I thought.
Well, the way it started, it looked like it was going to be a run over, but it's like you said earlier, the CV wrestlers hanging in there, hang tough, never give up.
And Guida looks like he's running out of gas a little bit. So, and now Chalice hanging on, 8-3.
And now you don't even have a major.
Nope. Again, he does it. What he needs to do is create space right there. He did it as soon as he posted his hand.
25
you
in a
need
match
to get that arm between the body and square your hips up against him. Instead, went to reach back and got caught in the same spot.
And Gita's a little winded here, too. Credit Chalice for putting him in that position.
Start of the third period, 8-3, Guida. Chalice selecting the defensive position to begin the period. Again, Guida working with both legs in. Again, a pirouette right into a crossface again.
Ooh, he got out of that. That could have been some near pinpoints there.
Get your knees underneath you.
Guida working a power half.
Get your knees underneath you.
When you got double legs in, you got to get yourself up to your base. And right there, you got no chance. Your face is tasting the mat, and with that power half in, he's going to continue to try to grind that in here until the official either calls a stalemate or a warning for stalling. Either way, there you go. Stalemate's called.
Knew it was coming.
The offensive wrestler being up 8-3, you can grind them like that. It's not, as long as they're not calling it, you can continue to do that.
Speak of the move in the match, Capital Region Insurance move of the match coming up toward the end of our broadcast, and then the Brenner family of dealerships wrestler of the match.
Again, Guida not looking very comfortable until he gets those legs in. Trying to find positions, but leaving a lot of open space there for Chalice to react and respond. Now being out front with an Oklahoma and no leg attached. I mean, again, that's a position where the defensive wrestler has a great opportunity to score from. You got to be careful. Referee Bob Durr saying that he's choking you off there. Can't cut that carotid artery off. And I remember a kid from Northern used to do that every match. I can't remember his name, but as an official, we talked about it in the room. He'd jump out in front and just really choke the guy out. You can't have them allow him to cut him off or cut off the wind. Guida looking for a near side cradle. I think really just content to hold him there.
Yeah, they needed more here, especially when you get out 7-1 in the first period. You got to do more after that.
Yep. Guida content to finish without any bonus points.
Credit Chalice for doing his due diligence here.
Got a locked hands right there. It's going to add one more point. Guida for a technical violation, locked hands, makes the match 8-4 with 4 seconds remaining. Chalice did his part in stopping any bonus points in a must-win for Parkland.
Oh.
That's it. 8-4.
Well, we're going to take a break. You're watching High School Sports Live, sponsored by Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We'll be back after this break.
Karen has 459 friends, but none of them made sure she got home okay. None of them suggested she skip the next drink, try a glass of water, or maybe just call it a night. Karen has 459 friends, but tonight, what she really needed was one good one.
Back at Cumberland Valley Gym with an 18-11 score in favor of Cumberland Valley at the 182 weight class, where we've got from Cumberland Valley Trent Cook versus Parkland. We've got Fearer.
Yep.
Let me take a look because he's not on my regular lineup.
He's 2-1. He's a sophomore.
Nathan Fire.
And for anyone unfamiliar with how these lineups are made in wrestling, you won't know till the match gets ready to start before a coach decides that he might pull one wrestler and send another So it's important to have someone constantly updating us on that.
Well, we got the right two people out here, and in this case, looks like the advantage goes to Trent Cook, an experienced junior from Cumberland Valley, somebody who's been a solid part of this Cumberland Valley's upper weight lineup, which has been vastly improved over past years.
Well, not only that, he's one of the more entertaining. His matches, you don't know what you're getting. I mean, earlier today he won a match 10-7, and there was some stuff along the edge that could have went either way. It's always dicey with Trent. Definitely gives maximum effort. He's in good shape, but boy, you can see a lot of action in his matches.
Well, he'll make it entertaining for the folks at home. Earns the first 2 points for a takedown.
Jeremy, talk about where Trent looks like he's well put together here. Talk about where he fits, not only in District 3, but then even statewide in the wrestling ranks.
Well, I mean, he's a nice guy to have in your lineup. But one thing about Cumberland Valley is there's really no significant holes where you're going to say, oh, we're going to get pinned here. And Trent's a big reason for that. He's at 180. He could probably wrestle 170, 182, depending. And I mean, he's a type that he's not going to win a state gold, but he could be an integral part to how well this team does, because he doesn't give up bonus points, and he doesn't get, he can still produce wins, and he's the type that could make it to states out of districts. Again, is he going to be in the semifinals of state championships? No, but he's definitely can contribute a bunch to your team just through getting wins and not getting pinned.
Right now, giving a 2-0 lead to Cumberland Valley Eagles at 182-pound weight class as we wrap up the first period. The coin flip, which is predetermined at the beginning of the match, was selecting of odd or even. Parkland having the choice, selecting the defensive position. Again, Cook trying to chop the arm, stay close on the hips, stop the initial surge. Now has the arm again across the middle of the back. He's got to be careful with that. You can't bring it up past parallel, and you can't keep it there all day. You need to use it. There he goes. He's trying to now trap it with his body. If he can thread it underneath with his forearm. Again, not in the greatest position to be able to do that. Out a little bit too far in front.
And with Dugan coming up the next match, it's important that Parkland can do something in this match and keep their point momentum going, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Trent Cook's a better wrestler here. I think he both in technique, and I just think he's stronger.
Locks up a far side cradle, rolls it through. Referee Bob Durr has already counted 5. He's going to award 3 near fall. Switching it up again. Again, not in the greatest position to turn him here. He needs to readjust. Puts a claw in on one side. And again, never awarded the point, so they're still saying it's the same combo. Now he awards 3.
You know, one thing when you're watching Bob Durr officiate, it's like, you don't have to know a lot about wrestling to understand what calls he's making. He's very clear, very decisive, and he's always in the right position. Look at him.
Yep. Bob's experienced, excellent official. Believe it or not, he has been involved with the girls field hockey program for a lot of years at Hempfield High School, and is really well known for the kind of caliber of kids that he produces, young ladies at that high school for field hockey. But excellent wrestling official, been around the sport even since I was a wrestler. Did some of my college matches.
Well, he's part of the 2 best sports in Central Pennsylvania for putting athletes in Division I uniforms. In field hockey is the best in the country in Central PA, and
wrestling.
So is wrestling on a traditional basis.
Nice way to finish that up with additional near fall points by Trent Cook, selecting the defensive position going into the third period with a 7-0 lead.
And that's just not settling. Running it up to the buzzer, trying to get every point you can, and that's paid dividends for CV in this match.
Yep, 9-0 now, and still working hard. He's again trapping that arm, inside arm, trying to roll it up. Has been consistently trying to put it in the middle of his opponent's back. maintaining control of the wrist on both sides. Now again, that arm across the back. I just don't know. You know, when you're a wrestler, you don't want to be in that spot. You can't give up those wrists. Wrist control is so critically important, and to keep your own, it's the only way you can ever be offensive.
Yeah, and his arm's got to be feeling it. I mean, it's been wrenched on now for about 2 minutes.
And with his head trapped here, this is a real good position to now lace the arm. What happens is he's going to figure out either how to put an inside cradle in or lace the arm and to be able to earn near fall points here.
And there he's trying to work it. You can see Trent.
He's got to make sure he doesn't push him out of bounds here. Looks good, too. He's
Yeah,
got him
he's
tight.
got him.
Yep.
There it is.
That's a way to take your time, have it in the right position, turns him, and earns 6 points for Cumberland Valley.
And we're going to take some time right now and go to break. You're watching High School Sports Live.
High School Sports Live is sponsored in part by The Patriot News, powered by PennLive.com, and by Keystone Tax Associates, a specialized sales and use tax consulting business, and by Sports Recruiters, your vehicle for sports success, sportsrecruiters.com.
Back here at Cumberland Valley Gym, where Cumberland Valley has shot out to a large lead. I believe we are now at 24-11 Cumberland Valley. Right now we're getting ready to go into the 195-pound weight class where we've got, I believe, Francis Dugan. No, not Francis. We're getting our sheet right now.
Yeah, it changes quick, doesn't it?
Drabenstat. That's
okay.
Okay, so we have for Cumberland Valley Brad Drabenstat, a senior, going up against Van Wert. It's actually Jonathan Worth. It says Van Wert here. I don't see any of those, not him listed in the lineup. So Jonathan Worth, I believe, is the wrestler. Jonathan Worth, a freshman coming in with a 5-2 record before the beginning of the day. And we've got, again, Brad Drabenstat for Cumberland Valley. Senior, 0-1 stepping into the day. Get a little switching around of the weights. Opportunity to get a better matchup.
That's also a chance for Coach Hecker, where he can, with this lead, rest some of his guys and maybe move them around a little bit.
Drabenstat, nice takedown directly to his back. Trying to figure out a way to lace it to come through. It's close. He's close. Here he goes. Able to spin him in a really good position to finish him here. What he's got to do is keep his hips parallel, lift up on the head. Doesn't want to get trapped in there too far. Again, you need to come out and get parallel. No hurry here, 25 seconds left on the clock. Still in a really good position. Coming over top. Headlocking it. Switching back and forth, 10 seconds. 9, 5, 4, 3, 2. He's able to Jathan Worth able to hold off a very tight near fall and pin situation by Drabenstat. Again, very tight, almost finish it off. Jumps out to a 5-0 early lead here at the 195-pound weight class.
Tell you what's nice for Coach Hecker to have wrestlers like this in the bullpen. I'll tell you.
Well, I think what he's trying to do here, I think he wants to bump Francis Dugan up. We talked about getting good matches. I think he wants to bump him up on Omar Haddad, who finished 7th in the state last year, just to get his freshman a good match.
Yep.
Well, also give him some experience. I mean, you can wrestle up and compete or win a match like that. How much confidence is that coming back down, guys?
As you know, Haddad was the Powerade champion last year, had a tough go of it this year.
Yeah.
Finished 7th in the state and has been one of the top-ranked wrestlers in the state of Pennsylvania. Had a rough morning today, but you get a freshman who goes in against competition that's highly touted, gets a victory like that, that could be something really to boost his career.
And how much of a difference in weight are we looking here with these guys?
Probably about 20 pounds.
Yeah, I'd say 20. Probably a little more, maybe 25.
I guess I would wonder how that could be a measuring stick. I mean, it definitely could be a match that brings competition, but When it's that big of a difference, it seems like
when you're a freshman, and he's obviously going to be a bigger weight kid. He's a bigger frame kid. He's going to be wrestling between 195 and 285, I bet, throughout the majority of his career. The ability to get up against bigger weights. When you're in a dual meet season, you got to float in between those weights. When you're a team that competes, you go up against a guy like Haddad. You earn some respect and maybe potentially pull out a victory. It could be a great opportunity for you. Right here, Cumberland Valley again, 5-2 in the lead, but 2 points are being earned by Jathan Worth.
I'll tell you what, not going away. I'll tell you, making this a match. Looked like it was about over.
Well, the deal with Francis, too. Weight, I know what you're saying about weight, but it's just that competition. You're facing a better wrestler in Haddad. You know, that's going to pay dividends. You got to win over him. Boy, when you get to start facing 195-pounders, you feel stronger.
Yeah.
And Haddad, I don't know where he's going to finish up in the season, whether he's going to do 220 or
I would assume he'll be 220, I would assume.
Now, is there value in a competitive loss against a top wrestler like that?
Always want to show well. Always want to show well. Be aggressive, continue to gain confidence. Go in there with a mindset to compete and do well. We'll see where that takes you. Don't take any steps back. 6-2 now, Drabenstedt in the lead over Jathan Worth from Parkland. Makes you sound like you almost have a speech impediment with that name.
Jeremy, I watched a few matches before the commentary today, and one was Francis Dugan, and he was relentless in his match earlier. It's going to be interesting seeing him going at it next against a top wrestler.
It will. It will. He's going to have the speed advantage, I think. Watching Haddad last week and watching Dugan this year, it'll be interesting to see if he could deal with the strength of Haddad.
Looks like he has a little bit of a length advantage too, just a little bit.
I like that.
Well, while we're here, the Cedar Cliff duels are going on over in Cedar Cliff. We also have, you can visit us at hsslivetv.com. This could be watched on the web. If you're listening and you have relatives in other states, these matches can be watched on the internet. We had someone watching our High School Sports Live basketball game this year from New Zealand. A parent was on a work trip.
Well, I guarantee there's a lot of coaches interested in seeing this next match between two quality wrestlers. I'm actually excited and to bring it here to you on High School Sports Live. Again, the match is still not out of reach, 24-11. Parkland needs some kind of major bonus points. I don't know where they're going to find it in the lineup. Cumberland Valley really looking good early. But this next matchup between Francis Dugan and Omar Haddad, proving to be one of the state's best matchups that's happening right here today, live on High School Sports Live.
I'm impressed with Parkland in this match to fight, hang in there, and not give up too many points in this match.
Again, Parkland came in here highly ranked. Just Lehigh Valley has always been an area of quality wrestling. Beat Easton. And now is maybe suffering their second straight loss here today at the Cumberland Valley Duels. Down 9-3 with 5 seconds to go. Cumberland Valley looking to get out to a 27-11 lead, which is going to be difficult to come back from.
Okay, and we're going to take a break. This is High School Sports Live Wrestling, sponsored by the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency, brought to you on ABC 27. We got a big one in a moment.
Under a new state law, all electronics must be recycled.
Welcome to the Dauphin County Recycling Center, where recycling is quick, easy, and free.
You may recycle appliances or even cell phones.
We're open 6 days a week, and recycling is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Contact our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or visit our website for more information.
Help us protect our planet, because tomorrow does matter. Back here at Cumberland Valley Gym, Cumberland Valley stretches the lead to 28-11 over Parkland. We've got a matchup here of a freshman who is very, very highly touted. You might know the last name. His brother Patrick Dugan had an early pin. Patrick Dugan is now, Francis Dugan up at 220. We were hoping to see a matchup between Francis Dugan and Omar Haddad. However, instead of sending out Haddad, Parkland sending out, it looks like, actually they say Worth in this match. There's two Worths. We're going to find out who this is in just one moment.
Yeah, our report we got has 2 Worth, Jathan Worth twice, so we're going to figure that out. In the meantime, still an opportunity for Francis Dugan.
This is Jahan Worth. So freshman Francis Dugan
2 freshmen
versus
going
Jahan Worth.
2 freshmen going at it. 2 nice-looking freshman guys put together, these guys.
Not the matchup we were looking for, but
Well, Parkland probably figured they'll move Haddad up to heavyweight, get the bonus points there. Probably didn't think they could get the bonus points over Francis Dugan. From a team aspect, this is the right move, but they're not going to win this match anyway, I don't think. But I could be wrong.
I'll tell you this, though. Jackson Stanford's no easy slouch either.
No.
So to go up against a kid who is a proven kid, it's not like you may or you may not get bonus points, but there's nothing assured.
Take credit Francis Dugan for gaining that kind of respect as a freshman.
These coaches know who everyone is.
Yep. Dugan in on a nice dump. Four to 1 lead.
Wait, how's that wrestling his brother at home? You got a little quicker guy. They're probably beating up on each other left and right.
Patrick says he still can't. Patrick said that Francis still can't beat him.
Okay. All right.
Despite all the weight.
I think we're going to take his word for it.
I wouldn't argue it.
I remember having a little brother at home who hated me being a wrestler.
Oh, and trust me, I know that little brother because he'd rather play basketball.
But having that kind of competitive wrestling edge at home and seeing what your older brother's able to do and then applying what you've learned sometimes through no choice of your own into being able to take it out on opponents is great. And obviously we've got another Dugan brother who's poised to do something very special here at Cumberland Valley.
Had a good Beast of the East tournament. He didn't place, but he knocked off the top seed early in the tournament.
Dugan, a switch.
I think Worth got
caught in the chin, or in the cheek there.
Speaking of that, High School Sports Live did the Trinity Camp Hill basketball game last week, and Austin Gilbertson took a spill, hit his jaw, ends up being a broken jaw. Talking to Dr. Bixer earlier, who was the physician who saw him that night, confirmed he had a broken jaw. And that was a tough spill. And who said basketball games don't have contact?
They do. They just don't want to get near the wrestling mat during practice. Dugan still in control here, earning all the points, only giving up 2 escapes, which he voluntarily did. Minute 22 remaining in the second period. 6-2 lead for Francis Dugan.
With Dugan having the size he has, I look at him, he looks close to 6'3" when I was standing next to him. Is his best weight class as high as he wants it to be at that size, or is it 220?
It's where your body has you at that time. I mean, again, he's got a frame where if it fills out, he can easily be a 285-pound stacked guy. But what you really want to see is continue to keep his quickness, his mobility, the ability to move in and out of positions. And again, he may be comfortable at that weight. Depends upon how quickly his body matures.
Right.
And that's like his brother Patrick. Patrick, the last 3 years, his cut weight at States hasn't looked as strong. Looked a little sluggish with that weight cut. This year, plans to stay at 152 because he feels comfortable, can eat the way he wants to eat, and just settle in and feel strong. And that's how you want to go into the state tournament.
I agree.
Well, and I don't know if fans at home know this or anybody knows this, but Dr. Bixer was talking to me before the broadcast. Dr. Bixer from OSS Health, who covers Cumberland Valley sports, he repaired the meniscus of Francis Dugan just in October. So he didn't have a very active preseason to get ready. So for him to be wrestling this well, not having had 2 months.
He talked about that at Beast of the East. And like I said earlier, knocked off the top seed in the Beast of the East, which is one of the biggest tournaments in the country.
Yeah.
Basically, his off season was football, and football does not prepare you for wrestling.
No.
Under no circumstance does it prepare you for wrestling.
Not even close.
Yes.
Take it from a guy that went from football to wrestling.
Yeah, it takes those guys a while to get in wrestling shape. I've covered a lot of sports in my short time at the Patriot News and Penn Live, and the two most conditioned athletes that I've seen are swimmers and wrestlers, and it's by a lot. So Francis really didn't get that. And once he got hurt in October, didn't have that chance to kind of get ready for wrestling season. And boy, he's making an impression despite not having that.
Nice
time.
double leg, nice pick and drive. You could tell that's part football, part wrestling, but great instincts and good athleticism. Wasn't able to finish, but clearly kept himself in good position, trying to secure a takedown.
Hey, it's no secret that half your NFL players are good NFL players wrestling.
No doubt.
Any football coach that doesn't want their kids to wrestle, big mistake.
Big mistake.
And I have a young man who's 10 who wrestled for several years, and now he's into football. And the comment was made by one of the coaches, he has more balance than any kid he's seen for that age. He has a balance. He knows how to stay on his feet. And
how to move people.
I can only credit that to wrestling.
And it's hand fighting. If you're a defensive end, you're on the line of scrimmage, or even a linebacker, hand fighting is very important. You really get that skill set when you're on the mat.
And also, how many times do people push and pull? You get to move them into the position you need them to go in. Half of wrestling is putting the guy in the position where you need him to be to score. I mean, what else is football but moving a guy into a position or blasting him off the ball, taking him out of the hole, or tackling him? All skills that you get on the wrestling mat. And I doubt there's too many football players that want to come on to a wrestling match with an experienced wrestler.
And I've also heard of a lot of wrestlers getting in the wrestling room and saying it's too difficult and quit.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
Guys, I was one of those.
I've been in some of the rooms in this area. It's there's a reason Central Dauphin and the Cumberland Valleys and the Boiling Springs are who they are.
Nice. Wasn't able to secure it, but really nice drive.
Well, these guys are getting a workout here.
I'll tell you who's getting a workout is the young man from Parkland's heels, because he's on him the entire match. If this was a matter of a football game and tackles, Dugan would be undefeated.
I want you guys to comment about something. Keep in mind, got to be 30 seconds. We have a break coming up. There's more rewatches on High School Sports Live YouTube Wrestling than any of the other sports we do. Why?
Because of the quality of wrestling, because the ability to have Central Pennsylvania being some of the best, District 3 wrestling being some of the best in the state. And just look at that action. Where else are you going to find that?
That's a good one.
I also think it's because wrestling's got a cult following. It's a fraternity.
Yeah, and I like that.
I think they want to see good matches. Who beat who, how they beat them. It's used as a scouting tool.
And how many of these kids go back and watch themselves and see what they did and whatnot? We're going to take a break. We're toward the end of the match between Parkland Trojans and the Cumberland Valley Eagles. We do. Stay with us because we got Manheim Central coming up starting around 4:15. We'll have an intermission, but right now we're taking a break.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support High School Sports Live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike Mechanicsburg and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years.
Back here at Cumberland Valley Gym, the 285-pound weight class. I know we've got Omar Haddad out there versus Jackson Stanford. Anxious to watch this match. Omar Haddad against 7th place finisher last year. State tournament going up against Jackson Stanford. Come into today with a 12-3 record. Haddad out to an early takedown. Dodd suffering a difficult defeat earlier today, and
surprising one.
Very surprising.
Seth Janney is very talented for Southwestern, but I didn't expect him to pull out that decision over a wrestler of the caliber of Omar Haddad.
Haddad with something to prove here now. I don't know if it's even going to be relevant, but without bonus points here, Parkland is pretty much done.
They got to have the pin.
Haddad letting Stanford out 2-1. Haddad over Jackson Stanford. Minute 12 remaining in the first period. Stanford really not your traditional looking heavyweight either, you know.
No,
Still taller and leaner.
Yeah, Cumberland Valley doesn't have a real true heavyweight. They have Blacks in there, as well as Drabenstad, and of course Stanford. I've seen all of them wrestle heavyweight at some point or another. So it's the one place where Cumberland Valley. I'm not going to sit. They're not weak. That's not what I'm saying. It's just they don't have a true heavyweight.
Mm-hmm. Jackson Stanford now down 4-1. 35 seconds remaining in the first period. Does a nice. Granby gets himself clear. Gets the match to 4-2. 20 seconds remaining. Both guys working the edge.
Well, we need to be talking about the Brenner family of dealerships wrestler of the match. Guys, I know Cumberland Valley's controlling this 31-11, but what match stands out to you as just a momentum shifter? I know I talked early about that one toss-up that just created a mental edge, which was, I believe, our second matchup. I'm leaning to that match.
You talked about Parker Hilliard in that match.
Yeah.
That was one that went down the stretch. I also think
we started out behind. It just showed Cumberland Valley was like saying right there, look, you're in our house.
I also liked the Quentin Milliken match where they took it to overtime, and he showed how much heart and resiliency he had during a critical toss-up match there in the final 30-second overtime.
Jeremy?
Boy, I don't know. That's so tough.
I think it's between both Hilliard and Milliken at this
because
point.
Hilliard kind of started. He won a toss-up match. Belga should have won his match over Chidiac, but that really got the roll started. So you also have to consider him.
Which one are you saying got it started?
Well, Belga did.
Belga did, yeah.
But the only challenge is he didn't break a sweat.
I know. That's the only problem with that.
And these kind of matches with top teams in the state often go down to the mental edge and one match over the other, kind of setting a tone and confidence for your teammates. Would you agree, George?
I do. And Cumberland Valley on the toss-up matches won them early, won a critical overtime decision, and as we said, with Hilliard winning a very close 5-3 decision. So all those toss-ups going in the direction. Parkland unable to capture any bonus points.
This match right here, Jackson Stanford's still in it. If he would pull the upset here, this gets my vote. Because it has nothing to do with the team match, but it's a huge win.
Yeah. Well, and that's something to consider.
If he can pull it off.
But as we look at our Capital Region move of the match, I like the points that pushed it to overtime in the earlier third match.
I'd have to go with the Felix Belga pin. From a move of the match, clearly executed, put directly down, square, no doubt about it. When he put him in the pinning position, it was over, and it was over with authority and distinction.
I agree.
I'd have to defer to you guys on that one.
So far, that gets my vote.
Yeah, so far.
Since I just learned what a pin was today, I figure I'll go with you guys on that one.
Omar Haddad now in a good position. He's trying to trap an arm. Good job. Trying to get that back and keeping his wrist out of a bad spot.
Well, like us on Facebook if you're home at High School Sports Live. A lot of good action, a lot of pictures. Also, tweet George Hartwick. Let him know what you think about his commentary. George likes to hear from his fans.
His constituents.
His constituents.
We're in wrestling. They're fans. And our fraternity of wrestling.
There you go.
2 minutes to go. Jackson Stanford still hanging around in this match. Omar Haddad escapes for a 5-2 lead. Minute 50 seconds remaining. Again, bonus points expected to be earned here. So far, it doesn't look like that, Jeremy.
No.
Yeah, during our 30-second break, I had a brief conversation with Francis Dugan, and it was only a 2 to 3 week exercise, 2 to 3 weeks of practice time before he actually got in the match. He had a 2-month layoff with that meniscus.
He looks good. As a freshman, there's a lot of wrestling going on in the Dugan household.
Well, we're going to have a chance to talk to Dr. Bixler in between the break about wrestling injuries, and he worked on Dugan. We'll have a chance to ask him specifically about that process with him.
Haddad's starting to stretch it out here.
That was nice. But waiting a lot, these guys still don't come out very strong. It's not the Parkland I'm used to seeing.
I'm wondering if the weight has something to do, because Jackson Stanford might be over the 220 barrier. He has wrestled heavyweight this season. He just doesn't look like your typical heavyweight. He's pretty agile. So maybe Haddad's struggling with that.
Based upon his last week and a half.
Maybe he just isn't wrestling well.
He may not be wrestling well.
Simple as that. He even looks bigger than Stanford.
He does. See, that right there was from a good wrestler standpoint, is something you should never miss. You got a guy who collapses almost directly to his back. You got to hook an arm and finish him. Almost just let him roll right through there without any kind of capture or pullover. He doesn't look to be wrestling with any urgency.
A little uninspired.
Uninspired.
And I can hear Haddad saying, "Hey guys, it's my third match a day. Give me a break. I just ate a hot dog in between the sessions."
College coaches, if he's planning on going D1, aren't looking at it that way. They want to see somebody who's able to finish, someone who's really going to stay on top of his opponent and dominate him through it, and particularly as an individual on his team expected to earn bonus points. He's not been successful in doing that here today as the match ends 7-2.
And credit Jackson Stanford. Definitely put up a fight there.
All right, well, we'll be back for more wrestling at Cumberland Valley High School.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support high school sports live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike in Mechanicsburg and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years.
Back here at Cumberland Valley Gym at the 106-pound weight class. We've got for Parkland, Nick Dolak, a freshman, coming in with a 5-3 record at the beginning of the day versus Cumberland Valley's Russell Zimmerman. Russell Zimmerman also a freshman. Guys look to be evenly matched here at 106. As we started the discussion about this match, this is one of those toss-up matches.
I'll tell you what, this is my favorite weight class because they fly all over the place and flip around, and it just seems like anyone has a shot in these, Well,
Zimmerman's coming off a head injury that he suffered in the first match of the day against Exeter. He did not wrestle against Southwestern. He was being checked out for a concussion, and it looks like he got cleared then for this match. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles this. Dolak's kind of an aggressive guy. Suffered 2 losses at the Powerade, and so that not entirely indicative of how good he is with the 5-3 mark. So it'll be interesting to see how Zimmerman handles this.
Dolak out to a 2-0 lead, a minute 13 remaining in the first period. Zimmerman now earns an escape. Both guys are neutral.
He went after the head right away. So
That's
far
good.
he looks like he's got his faculties. He looks like he's in good shape here.
I'm no doctor, but he looks squared up.
There you go.
No, we haven't talked probably enough about Cumberland Valley's dethroning last year of Central Dauphin in the area as being the lead, and then coming back this year with, again, top team in the area.
I don't think Cumberland or Central Dauphin wants to talk about it.
Well, no, but Central Dauphin has accomplished so much.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
And they're going to continue to accomplish things, but that was an unprecedented run, as you know, Jeremy. You cover this. But just the respect that I have seen in us doing High School Sports Live over the last 4 years that Heckard had for Swigert during their reign and how he handled being on the losing side of that. He's a deserving leader right now, I believe.
Yeah, you can't be on top forever. It just doesn't happen that way. Central Dauphin still, I believe, is going to finish second in the district. I don't see I think Exeter, who's here today, I think they're going to make states out of District 3. I think those 3 teams are the top teams. Cumberland Valley, though, has depth. And I think that's what they have over everybody else right now. Plus, their junior high program and their youth programs producing these young guys, and you're seeing the fruits of that labor now. This is a relatively young team. Cal Reichert, who's a sophomore, isn't in the lineup today, and he's a real accomplished wrestler. So I think Cumberland Valley is kind of here to stay for a while. They looked at this group coming in 2 years ago, this freshman group, and knew what they had. Now Patrick Dugan's going to be gone this year, but Francis Dugan's here, could be the hammer of the lineup, and you have those freshmen that are now, or that'll be juniors next year, in the bottom of the order that are really good.
Can I put it in perspective, Charlie? Cumberland Valley, I was a wrestling official for 22 years. I've been involved in the sport for probably about close to 30, believe it or not.
Well, you're in the Wrestling Hall of Fame locally, mind you.
But the point is, Cumberland Valley and Central Dauphin have been rivals for the past 15, 20 years. And even during the runs, there were times in this gym where I did Cumberland Valley's upset over Central Dauphin.
I
critical matchups.
I was here for that.
I mean, the point is, Cumberland Valley has always been measured by wrestling excellence. Under Roger Barrick and now under Dave Heckard's leadership. As long as Jeff Swigert is able to do it, Central Dauphin is always going to be competitive, because both of these teams are reflections of the hard work ethic of their coach, the ability to develop young leaders, and the ability to set high expectations and goals. That's why you see these guys moving forward.
Well, we saw Coach Swigert naturally has battled some health issues. It's a public thing. In this very gym, it was reported that Coach Swigert wasn't feeling very well. Took a little moment at the trash can. A few minutes later, he's coaching his kids on the sideline, demonstrating to those kids that I'm not going to let that keep me from doing my job.
Look, he will come up to practice despite what he goes through every day. Bitches about nothing, excuse my French. But he's one of those hard-nosed guys who doesn't talk about it, he does it. I think kids today are tired of people talking at them. They want to see who's around your dinner table and what you're doing and what your actions dictate. And his actions dictate the kind of level of commitment he wants of his kids, and they follow suit. Both of these guys.
The guy runs
every day. I see him on 22 every day.
Well, I live in the township, and he's relentless. And the township and the school district, and I hope he understands how much respect he has, just even in his
HoffmanFord.com, turning the World Wide Web.
I'll tell you, in being close to Swags, he makes it very clear to me that if he didn't do that every day, he still wouldn't be with us. He believes getting himself out of bed, driving himself to do the things that he does is what really keeps him on this earth.
Yeah.
And now he has an heir apparent. He picked him in the summer months, brought him in as an assistant, brought in Brandon Bucher. That's the guy he's tabbed to take over the program for him. But Swags isn't going to go away. I think he's going to kind of, just be the assistant, the guy who works, between 3 and 5. That's his favorite time in the wrestling room. And I will tell you, being in the rooms, there isn't a room harder than that one. Or hotter, for that matter.
As you know, he was the coach of Susquehanna when I was at Stilton, and my nemesis coached against me in many key matches, and I worked out with him and seen his workouts and participated in the gym. Not a better leader anywhere around. 6-3 right now in favor of Parkland.
Looking at this match here, Parkland goes, let's say it goes 31-17. there's at least 2 matches we felt like last match and previous that could have been pins for Park. This could be 31, 23, 20, 24 right now, guys.
It could.
But it isn't. Cumberland Valley won the close toss-ups as it worked out. It's a big victory for Cumberland Valley.
Well, I think, too, we were looking for a premier matchup. Maybe 113 gives it to us the next match. I mean, Ortman versus Caldese could happen. Could depend on what happens here.
Dolak still in 6-4.
He's fighting for his life here to keep this lead.
You got Zimmerman in on a single. Again, now has lost it, getting his head controlled.
That yelling in the background, you have Exeter and McDowell in a close match.
Well, I'm hearing votes from you guys for Milliken as our wrestler of the match. Are we going with that, guys?
Again, it's a toss-up between Hillard and Milliken. I like the freshman at Milliken based upon his overtime gut and grit. His decision. He was 5-0 over Weatherhold.
And
That's an impressive win.
Hilliard had an important.
Hilliard was the overtime.
He had a comeback win.
I'll tell you what, I like Hillard.
Okay.
I like Hillard only because, you know what? It's not, overtime's tough, but we got 2 matches left. I mean, depending what happens here, like you said,
that could be the balance.
Be the balance.
We'll be back after this.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support high school sports live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike Mechanicsburg and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years.
Welcome back to Cumberland Valley Gym, where we've got a premier matchup of 2 tough wrestlers. Zach Ortman from Parkland versus William Caldese, Bill Caldese from Cumberland Valley. Caldese trying to work through a funk situation here, trapping the bottom ankle. Ortman hanging on to the same ankle. But official Bob Durr stopping it for being potentially dangerous, back on their feet. False start. Bill Caldese. Yeah. After this. Caldese earning the first 2. Has a nice half in, but maybe the out of bounds line is not his friend. Has to work back in. Ortman, defensive position, down 2-0 to William Caldese, Cumberland Valley. That's his second caution on Caldese early on. The first one was a false start. Second one, a false start here from the offensive position. Third one will cost him.
Caldese has had a little bit of a rough year. Talked about it a lot earlier. CV Kickoff Classic, Riley Palmer, he split with him last year, Council Rock South Star, and they were close decisions. Palmer ran him over at CV Classic earlier this year, tacked him. I was very surprised by that. And then he also struggled last week against David Campbell from Boyertown, dropped the decision. So Caldese has struggled this year. Now, that being said, Riley Palmer, I think, went up to another level. Went to a camp at Minnesota. So that tech fall doesn't look as bad now. But Caldese definitely wants to get on the winning track here. Start a little bit. I mean, he had a good win in the Southwestern match earlier. He pinned Chase Mallory. Chance to flex his muscle here. Build on that confidence against Ortman.
Going to be key for Cumberland Valley's lineup to have William Caldese performing at a high level, trying to earn some bonus points. And those of you who know the name Caldese, the famous Spot dog owner, I believe that's his grandfather. if I'm not incorrect, Bill Caldes.
That's a little before my time.
Oh, he's still over at the Senators.
Not a baseball guy.
Once you meet him, you'll never forget him. He's a beauty. Bill Caldes, 2-0 at the end of the first period in a premier matchup between Zach Ortman
Again, coming up after the broadcast, we have our Brenner Family of Dealerships Wrestler of the Match and our Capital Region Insurance Agency Move of the Match, which we talked about, the pin by Belga.
Ortman having choice in the second period, choosing the defensive position. Will Caldes not able to get under the arms too much.
Caldes went after him at the end of the second period, tried to roll him twice and get some near fall points. I like seeing that aggressiveness instead of just letting the period run out, trying to get it the most you can.
What I like about watching the lower weights is it seems a lot more tactical than the 185 twos and higher, doesn't it?
Well, it takes a lot less to move less weight. I mean, you got to be quick. You got to be able to create the angles. You have more speed. But when you're bigger, it's tough to move you, Charlie.
Who's the best you guys have seen at the 113 and lower weights, the 106, 113 in your lifetime? Who can you think of?
Oh, this is a slam dunk for me. Spencer Lee out of Franklin Regional. You come into the high school ranks as the #1 kid in the country as a freshman and didn't wrestle a high school match yet. You know, I was a little skeptical. I'm always skeptical of that.
He's the real deal.
When I saw him at States last year,
he's the real deal.
That kid's sick good.
And is it the speed?
Oh, it's everything.
It's his strength, really. People talk about. He's able to snap your head down so hard. He just doesn't look like he's that strong, but he is, and he has speed, and technically, there's nobody his match. To me, he is the best pound-for-pound wrestler in the state. I hate saying that because it's a fictional thing. It can't be proven, but I don't think you'd see many people that disagree with me.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't at this point. And we all, we've come up with so many phenoms that have done great things.
He truly fits that term.
He does. And, then you got guys who are now in high school winning world championship matches.
Yeah, it's...
So, I mean, just when we think it can't get any better, there's always somebody out there hungrier, more developed, and ready at a younger age.
Talk to viewers at home. We haven't seen in previous matches as many guys starting out on their knees. George, you're a wrestler. What's the advantage of being low and on your knees?
It was not a place where I enjoyed wrestling. I'd like the ability to be on the balls of my feet, having to be able to control the wrestler. But a guy like Peppelman.
That's where it really started to get big.
He really, you don't give up anything from being in that good position. It's hard to attack your legs. You're able to continue to press. You're already in a spot where you can shoot. You stay in good position without having to change your levels. I mean, there's several advantages to it, but I think you can create more offense from your toes than you can your knees. Maybe it's just I'm a little old school. But I'll tell you this. You'll stay out of trouble being on your knees most of the time if you keep your head in good position.
A lot of purists don't like it.
I'm not a fan of it.
But the Peppelmans made a pretty good career out of it. And you see it even in this match. Guys going down to their knee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is coming down to the wire here. We're 2-1.
Yeah, it kind of slowed down a little bit.
It did.
But Caldes reaching around the head. Ortman bailing out well there. Able to keep control. Still trying to turn him.
What do you think of Aaron Pico? He made the U.S. championships. You're familiar with this kid?
I've not seen him yet.
We got to talk about that after this match.
Ortman working hard here to try and get some back points. He's been close.
And again, he needs to turn him here. Down 2-1.
He's either got to cut him and go for the takedown to tie, or he's got to turn him.
And Caldy's, right now not in a bad position. Unless you're going to do something from here, it's going to be tough for him to turn him. Stalemate called. Bobby Durr.
At what point here do you think about cutting him and going for that and going for to try and get the takedown to even it?
I would have already instructed my wrestler to cut him.
See, yeah, I mean, I'm in agreement. 30 seconds just isn't enough time to get it done anymore. Well, against a good defensive wrestler.
And that's what they did. There you go.
And he just caught him.
And again, Caldy's without a stalling warning, and now in on a single leg. Got to be careful. Again, a funk situation. Got to be careful here. Continue to drop his hips back. He's got to drop his hips back. You can't let him to continue to stay through. Now, Caldy's in a bad spot. All he needs to do is plant him and come up through. He needs to hang on to that leg, and now re-funking. Looks like he's going to hold it out there. Trying to scoop it back up at the end, saving off a near takedown at the end. 3-1, Will Caldy's.
Our last match coming up after this. You're watching High School Wrestling Live on TV.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support High School Sports Live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike in Mechanicsburg and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years. Chrysler, Jeep.
Welcome back to Cumberland Valley Gym for our final match of the afternoon, at least the early afternoon, in a matchup of Cumberland Valley versus Parkland. Wrestling score right now 34-17 after a big victory by Will Caldy's. Up next is Mastangelo from Parkland versus Wyatt Long from Cumberland Valley. Mastrangelo, a junior. I think, again, we've got to talk about this, but our wrestler of the match looks like it's going to be, you said Parker Hilliard?
I would say either Parker Hilliard or Milliken. But I'm leaning towards Parker Hilliard.
Well, I think that's who they're going to get, so. Cumberland Valley out to a early lead, 2-0. Wyatt Long.
Long's one of those sophomores, that incoming class from a couple years ago that they were waiting for. He's a staple in this lineup. He keeps getting better. And this is why that class, the Wyatt Long, Caldy's, Reichert, all those guys that came in. Reichert's out of the lineup today. But that is why Cumberland Valley is the best team in District 3 right now.
I'm going to tell you something. Wyatt Long has a stout record coming in here as well. Sophomore. Now attempting. Trap that arm. Tilt situation. Close to the out-of-bounds line. Now tries to throw a half from his toes. 5 seconds. Be content with this thing running out. 3, 2, 1. Wyatt Long at the end of the first period goes into the second period leading 2-0.
We're going to have, as soon as this match ends, after a quick break, since Hilliard is actually the first wrestler of the next match, we're going to have a quick Brenner Family of Dealerships player, or wrestler, I always want to say player, wrestler of the match interview. Promised Coach Heckard we'd have him back so he could do a quick warm-up, and we'll find out his thoughts on that pivotal match, Jeremy.
He's getting ready to join us now. False start. Caution on Wyatt Long from Cumberland Valley. Long staying in control. Needs to stay underneath that arm. Trying to get the leg hooked in. Not in a great position. Gives up one. Escape. Andrew Mastrangelo from Parkland now trailing 2-1.
We're going to be joined shortly here by our wrestler of the match, Brenner Family of Dealerships. We're not going to have a lot of time because we have the Manheim Central match coming up. Cumberland Valley is going to need to take care of business and get ready for that.
Parker Hillard is going to be joining us here in a moment. We're anxious to talk to him. We're very impressed by his victory earlier. Came on strong in a match that was pivotal in a toss-up match and really established and earned a very strong victory, 7-2 decision.
That was a comeback match, too. It's important. Just in matches like this, we're looking at the score right now. 34-17, but a bunch of toss-ups. This could be within a pin away from a tie if a lot of these matches go different ways. And I'm sure Coach Heckard and Cumberland Valley's happy to win this one and to be undefeated here in their own duel.
Well, again, we're in the middle of the second period. Wyatt Long with a 2-1 lead. The victory seems to be in hand with a 34-17 lead for Cumberland Valley. And doesn't seem that Mastrangelo is in a position here to earn any bonus points. Obviously, the match is out of reach. Really impressed by the way Cumberland Valley was able to come up and win all of the toss-up matches today.
Yes.
Particularly an overtime victory at the 132-pound match. We've got Parker Hillard here that we're going to do in a post-game interview, one that changed the momentum around and really established, I think, the ability for Cumberland Valley to win, especially the ones that are supposed to be tight early. Tell us a little bit about your match.
Well, going out there, I just knew that I needed to get a win for the team because it was start off the match with a win. Whenever I was down 3-1. That was the only shot I took the whole match, and I just knew as soon as I got that, I knew I could finish that.
Yeah, that was exciting for me watching that because I was waiting for something. In every wrestling match, you want something to just like get you going and get your adrenaline pumping and get everybody excited. And Parker, that was it for me.
And you know what we set up here, Parker? Why'd you wait so long? Because every time you started to take an offensive shot, every time you started to press the action, you were able to finish. So, from the confidence that you were able to gain based upon you taking those interactions, staying a little bit more offensive, you really were impressive when you were on the offense.
Yeah, that's one thing I need to work on is staying offense the whole time. I tend to switch to a defensive mode, and it ends up hurting me in some matches. But once I turn that on, I know I can just take anyone down. It helps me.
With the confidence of being able to take people down, obviously you're in decent shape. You showed it through the second of the 30-second overtimes. You look stronger at the end than you did at the beginning. So, the advice, first of all, we're really proud and happy to name you wrestler of the match in a pivotal win over Parkland. But also, staying offensive early, maybe we won't have it as tight. You won't have to go those extra periods.
Yep.
I know after the break here, we're going to have a special Brenner Family Dealerships plaque presentation to Parker, and we'll get that on air. But Parker, my question to you right now is, what other teammate, because this is a team sport, this wrestling, especially when you got to do 5 matches in one day, but what other teammate today kind of stood out to you, someone that might have wrestled the match of the day for you guys?
That's a real tough one. I mean, everybody wrestled very, very well. Actually, he just wrestled Will Caldees over there.
Okay, yep.
I think he wrestled very, very well against that kid.
And Felix Belga put him away early.
That's another one I was going to say. I was debating. That was a really nice tight pinning.
Well, we're going to let you comment on that, on the move of the match, because I think we might have chose his pin as the move of the match. We'll have to see, but we'll let you comment and see that on our screen here in a little bit.
Also impressive win by one of your teammates there, Milliken over Weatherhold. He came on strong at the end. Weatherhold looked to be a strong kid coming into this match. Milliken really wearing him down late in the third period.
Yeah, he was Quentin Milliken. He was scaring me a little bit at the beginning. He almost got taken down there, but he fought it off well.
And looks like we're finishing the same way this match has gone with another takedown by Cumberland Valley. Looks like Wyatt Long will gain a 9-3 decision over Andrew Mastrangelo, stretching the lead right now to 37-17. That's a butt whooping, folks. over one of the top-ranked teams in the state of Pennsylvania. Cumberland Valley, after suffering a setback to Boyertown, today reestablishes themselves as the District 3 team to beat with an impressive 37-17 win over Parkland.
Well, you're watching High School Sports Live Wrestling here at the Cumberland Valley Duels. Don't go away. We have Manheim Central coming up. We have a special plaque presentation for our Parker Hillard Player of the Game, and we're going to see the Capital Region Insurance Move of the Match. We'll be back in a few.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, you two. It's dinner time. When Marcus and Michelle were starting their family, they came to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for their home loan. We're proud we could help Marcus, Michelle,
much time,
and
Chad?
Mia. If you're looking for an affordable home loan or refinancing
Okay, well, right when we
options,
come back,
give us
I'm
a
going to do
call.
the plaque
We offer down
presentation.
payment and closing cost assistance, too. Call us weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or check our website. We're the
Parker,
Pennsylvania Housing Finance
138.
Agency. We help homeownership dreams come true.
Parker Hillard.
There's a place where kids really connect to learning. Commonwealth
Felix
Connections
Beldo.
Academy. It's a tuition-free,
145.
fully accredited online public
the pit.
school where students find devoted, enthusiastic teachers like never before. Commonwealth Connections Academy, the online public school.
Yep.
Yes.
It's always better when you get to pick your team. That's why I didn't just accept the regional health plan offered at work. I went to a Highmark Direct store and picked a more affordable plan with a broader network, one that I feel better with.
For the most value, you're better with Blue. We're reinventing affordable health care for today and for generations to come. For all you do, you're better with Highmark Blue Shield.
No regrets. If only she parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is
Chad.
seriously good insurance that treats you fairly. And
We're
goes
going to
above
leave.
and
How
beyond to make
long's
you
the
feel like
break
your auto or home is
before
never
when
happened.
Dr. Bixler
At
comes up
rates that'll
after
save
this
you as much as
particular
the other
session?
guys. So get a quote from Erie today.
Okay, that'll be time to
because
sit. Now,
whatever your
Dr.
regrets
Bixler
in
does
life,
not
your insurance
need to
company
be
shouldn't be
a
one of
face
them.
shot. It can just us be hearing him. He prefers that, okay?
Erie Insurance.
Is that
From
okay?
Times Square to your local community, from local
And then
sports
we'll
to
come
international
back.
conventions, Invika has changed the broadcast and video landscape, bringing
Yeah,
professional
you can just
quality and
maybe show a
service
visual
to
of the gym or
organizations
something, but
across
he
the
doesn't
globe.
wanna be
Through
a face
professional,
shot, okay?
college level, and local sports,
And then we'll come
festivals,
back and
competitions,
Jeremy
parades,
Elliott
and
can
telethons,
sit in with us and start
conferences and
talking about
commercials.
obesity and all
Invika
that
is
stuff,
bringing the
okay?
power of video to more people and markets than ever before. Have a project you need covered? Check out our website for more information. Invika, providing affordable HD video solutions.
We're back at Cumberland Valley High School, and we're excited as Cumberland Valley beat the Parkland Trojans, a perennial power in Pennsylvania, along with the Cumberland Valley Eagles. Preseason ranked number 19th, lost a tough one to Boyertown, but you guys have reestablished yourself today, Parker, at 4-0, and you were a big part of this match. You are our Brenner Family of Dealerships Wrestler of the Match, and we would like to present this to you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk about how that match went for you. I know George has some comments in a second on how that affected the match, but what was going on in your mind during that match?
I needed to stay active during that match, and I didn't want to give up at that point. I really needed to push through for our team, and I really felt like I did that and came out with the win at the end.
George, you had some comments on what you were seeing.
Yeah, I think this young man certainly has demonstrated his ability to be in shape. I think as you gain confidence, when we saw you get offensive, there wasn't anybody that was able to stop you. And I think your mentality to stay offensive late, to not give up anything early, but you're obviously in great condition. You need to gain a little bit more confidence in your offensive skills because they're apparent. And I just want to congratulate you for one heck of a match in a pivotal match early on and against the big Parkland team. What do you think that momentum change had done for your team during that critical moment?
Well, I mean, it shows. We just whooped them. What can I say? I mean, we pulled out the win.
Well, congratulations. We're going to be following you next here in a match against Manheim Central, and we wish you best of luck for this year again. Sometimes it's those early season setbacks that are going to get you more focused towards what you're going to do at the end of the year. Best of luck. We expect Cumberland Valley to be at the top of the heap.
Thank you.
Hey, Parker, I have one question for you. Coach Heckard established a heck of a team philosophy. You can see it in the way you're talking. What's maybe a one-liner or a comment or a part of his philosophy that just rings in every wrestler at Cumberland Valley's mind?
It's time to get paid. We've done our work. It's time to get paid.
All right, I like it.
You got paid today.
We're going to hear in a little bit from Dr. Bixler from OSS Health, but he's the Cumberland Valley sports physician. He's going to talk about another wrestler, Francis Dugan, and how he came back after a meniscus injury, and talk about the kind of injuries that often crop up in wrestling when we come back.
Finally, we're going to be also here today, Felix Belga, somebody who is no stranger, a freshman phenom, someone who has been at the top of the charts. Today is also going to be named our move of the match.
Yeah, and that pin was tremendous, and we're going to see that on the screen.
As you see, squared him up, not too much room for error, put him immediately on his back. Felix needed to earn bonus points. I think the only one who knew he wasn't pinned was his opponent, because Felix obviously came out and within 40 seconds did his job. And congratulations to Felix Belga, winner of the move of the match for High School Sports Live today.
When we come back, some more from Dr. Bixler on injuries in the wrestling realm.
The Advanced Hoops basketball program has professional skill training.
Sorry, I missed that, Chad.
Advanced Hoops is unique as we offer professional point guard and dribbling with Gerald Jarman.
As a former point guard at the University of Richmond, I led one of the greatest upsets ever against Syracuse in 1991. I get more fulfillment out of teaching young athletes the things that I learned and the keys that I learned, both in college and professionally.
Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction is amazing. He's helped many high-level players get a great shooting foundation for the college level.
Ruff Tractor and Equipment is PA's full-line equipment dealer representing Case Construction along with other leading manufacturers. Ruff Tractor celebrates its 55th year in business, serving the total sales, rental parts, and service needs of its customers. Ruff Tractor paves the way for your project from start to finish, featuring the latest parts and equipment from Case Construction and more. Ruff also offers 24/7 job site support. Ruff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Today, we have some breaking news on the West Shore. Some spraining, twisting, popping news. It appears that Mechanicsburg is getting a state-of-the-art OSS orthopedic urgent care. This is what we know so far. OSS urgent care is much faster than the emergency room. All patients will be seen by orthopedic experts. Costs are typically less, and OSS is open 7 days a week. Remember, if you have a sprain, pop, or break to report, go right to the experts. OSS Orthopedic Urgent Care. 2 great locations, York and now Mechanicsburg. Now that's some good news.
Karen has 459 friends, but none of them made Karen has 459 friends, but none of them made sure she got home okay. None of them suggested she skip the next drink, try a glass of water, or maybe just call it a night. Karen has 459 friends. But tonight, what she really needed was one good one.
All right, we're back at the Brenner Family of Dealerships post-game report. A topic that we're going to talk about between matches here, as you see exhibition matches going on at the CD Duels and wrestlers warming up, is wrestling injuries. They're different. Every sport tends to have injuries that tend to surface because of the wear and tear of the sport. I'm with not only a good friend, but the Cumberland Valley sports doctor, Brian Bixler from OSS Health. Brian, just talk a little bit about the injuries you're seeing in your office and even at Cumberland Valley when it comes to wrestling.
Well, one of the main things we see a lot of shoulder injuries. We see a lot of labrum tears. Without even tearing, they do things. They subluxate and dislocate. And that's probably the mainstay of their injuries is shoulder issues. In addition, we see some problems that are unique to wrestling. We see broken noses. We also see a lot of skin problems that we've been dealing with. A couple of the local high schools, are really dealing with their fair share of skin issues this year.
When I have a couple of relatives that wrestle the Colello boys over at Cedar Cliff. I don't mind saying that on air because they've done well for themselves. Josh had over 100 wins, and Jake and Josh is doing pretty well as a junior. But my son Adam wrestled several years ago, and he had a total shoulder dislocation. And how often do you see a total shoulder dislocation in wrestling?
Not very common. I've been present at a few in the last 15 years or so, but it doesn't happen. They frequently get something called a subluxation, where it partially dislocates and comes back in on its own. It's pretty rare to be at a match when an athlete will totally dislocate and have to be put back in by a doctor or a trainer.
OSS Health has done a very good job of supplying supervision. Yourself, I know you've been you were at our Trinity Camp Hill game. You took care of Austin Gilbertson when he went out. I ran into an athlete here that stood out in a couple matches here today, Francis Dugan, one of the best freshmen in the state. He mentioned his knee, the meniscus. How can talk to me about this and the fans at home? How can an athlete in October get a surgery for a meniscus and be wrestling at this high a level? Talk about how that can happen, and Francis in particular.
A lot of it is the fact that he's a 15-year-old kid. They bounce back pretty quickly.
Yeah, not like us, guys.
I need about 6 months off from a surgery like that. These days it's done arthroscopically. It's 3 small incisions and start rehab right away.
Wow.
He's a tough kid and bounce back really, really quickly. They don't all do that well that quickly, but he's an exception. And
he seems like,
he's an exception
in great
to
shape.
a lot of things. Yeah.
And how about his brother Patrick, who's one of the best, could have a chance to win a state championship here, beating up on him at home. He's probably used to taking a pounding and keep on ticking, huh?
He's supposed to just keep going. That's what he's supposed to do.
And I know you personally, so I know your daughters have been swimmers. My own daughter's a swimmer. We've shared shoulder injury issues, and so am I right in saying that injury sports tend to have injuries that are commonly attached to that sport? Would that be accurate in saying that?
In general, yeah. If you do a statistics on them, you can say that for sure.
Well, Dr. Bixler, thanks for joining us. This concludes the Brenner Family Dealerships post-game report. We're going to be back in a few minutes to hear from Jeremy Elliott from Penn Live. He's going to talk about, during our break, the Beast of the East, the Powerade, how local wrestlers did in those nationally recognized events. We'll be back in a few.
It's always better when you get to pick your team. That's why I didn't just accept the regional health plan offered at work. I went to a Highmark Direct store and picked a more affordable plan with a broader network, one that I feel better with.
For the most value, you're better with Blue. We're reinventing affordable health care for today and for generations to come. For all you do, you're better with Highmark Blue Shield.
From Times Square to your local community, from local sports to international conventions, Invika has changed the broadcast and video landscape, bringing professional quality and service to organizations across the globe. Through professional, college level, and local sports, festivals, competitions, parades, and telethons, conferences, and commercials, Invika is bringing the power of video to more people and markets than ever before. Have a project you need covered? Check out our website for more information. Invika, providing affordable HD video solutions.
We're back at Cumberland Valley High School at the CD Duels. CD 3-0 dominating today here, and a impressive 37-17 performance over the Parkland Trojans. I'm here with George Hartwick and Jeremy Elliott from Penn Live. Jeremy, let's talk about Manheim Central out of the LL League. They're going to be forfeiting a few matches here today, but talk about what might get interesting in a couple of the matches.
Seacrest. It'll be interesting to see if they match Dugan up against Patrick Dugan up against him. That'll be a big test for Seacrest, who is looking to make some noise in the postseason this year. Really, this is going to test Manheim, who's trying. Troy Sunderland, who we all know from Penn State, took over the programs, trying to rebuild it. Manheim Central, some people might forget, used to be one of the top programs in District 3. This will be a good test to see how far they come and how far they still need to go.
George, what do you think about this matchup today? Manheim Central, one of the better teams out of LL, matching up with a top mid-Penn. What's this going to say for Lancaster versus Harrisburg area wrestling? How big is it when it comes to that?
I don't know if it's fair to make that comparison now. You just saw Cumberland Valley destroy a good Parkland team. Manheim Central is in the process, and they have been for the last several years under a really strong leader in Troy Sunderland, trying to rebuild their program. I think you're going to see how far that Manheim Central has to go in order to try to be with the District 3 elites. And today I expect a matchup where there may be one or two really good individual matchups. You're going to see the difference in wrestling room, mentality, and talent. And Cumberland Valley has it. Manheim Central is trying to grow it. Hopefully they're going to gain something from this experience and give Cumberland Valley some good individual bouts, but I expect Cumberland Valley to continue to stay on a roll after a really impressive victory.
Well, more excitement, more wrestling coming back in a few here at Cumberland Valley. See you in a bit.
Hey guys, just in time.
When Julie wanted to provide some stability for her two boys, she reached out to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for her home loan. We're proud we could help Julie and her family. If you're looking for an affordable home loan or refinancing option, give us a call. We offer down payment and closing cost assistance too. Call us weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or check our website. We're the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We help homeownership dreams come true.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support high school sports live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike Mechanicsburg and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years.
Under a new state law, all electronics must be recycled.
Welcome to the Dauphin County Recycling Center, where recycling is quick, easy, and free.
You may recycle appliances or even cell phones.
We're open 6 days a week, and recycling is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Contact our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or visit our website for more information.
Help us protect our planet, because tomorrow does matter.
We're back at Cumberland Valley, and we have our first matchup here. George, take it away.
Well, we got to find out who we got here, Charlie. I know we're doing back-to-backs.
Our runner is coming here. Here she is.
We're going to get who we have here. And for Manheim, we have Enk. Let me get the lineups here 1 second.
It's Caleb Enk and Ryan Wolf.
Got it. Ryan Wolf and Caleb Enk. Caleb Enk, a junior. Looked like he came in here with a 7-7 record. Don't know how he fared out today, but right now in on a double leg, looking pretty good against a Ryan Wolf who really just got off the mat a little bit ago.
And Wolf got off to a late start in his first match. It'd be nice to see Wolf to come out and score first here, and he just did.
Wolf up 2-0. Now trying to secure a wrist, lock it in. Driving forward, looking to try to earn 2 points. Caleb Enk post him with one arm. Needs to get his head off the mat and start to move, create some space. Wolf onto the legs, both men out of bounds, 50 seconds to go. Ryan Wolf with a 2-0 lead. Yeah, looking down that lineup, Jared Segrist. Looks like an interesting Zach Zemer, potentially a good matchup. Ryan McKee. I think they may be the three that we point to. Who do you think Segrist will be matched up against?
You know, I'm sitting here looking at that, and I don't think Heckert will bump Dugan at 152 up that high. He's bumped him to 170 in the past. Did against Boyertown. He had no choice. But I don't see him doing that. Maybe we could see Chalice. We could see Trent Cook there. You know, Those are the two I'm leaning towards at 170 that Seacrest is going to see.
I think we should start chanting for that match to happen. I remember being here years ago when Cumberland Valley upset CD at the duels years ago, and I remember there being
I was the official.
I remember because I was watching and judging you at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I remember there was a lot of booing because they didn't have Peppelman wrestle Napoli in that particular match, and that ingrained in my mind how wrestling can be so strategic and affect maybe what the fans may want at times.
Yeah, it's always best to see the best guys wrestle, but strategically, if you're trying to win a close match, that may not be the best thing for the team. So
and the team comes first.
In this setting, yes. Now last year we saw Garrett Peppelman wrestle T.C. Warner. It was an unbelievable match.
That was a great match, wasn't it?
It was a fantastic match.
3-2 if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Yeah, Garrett. Well, I think it was like 4-3, but Garrett really handled it.
Yeah, he did.
I was kind of surprised how well he handled it.
I agree.
And both are in college now. TC's at Old Dominion. Garrett is actually wrestling unattached today at F&M, but he's at Virginia, which is just short of Ivy League. So I think both have promising college careers.
Jeremy, talk about some of the results that stood out to you at Powerade.
Check the action here. Manheim Central getting back in the match, tying it up, knotting it up 3-3.
We can hold on that.
Again, Jacob Enck, first out of the box here for Manheim Central, keeping it close with Ryan Wolf, 3-3. 48 seconds remaining in the second period. While we've got a close match, we might as well stay in on the action here, Charlie.
Well, and credit Enck for changing our conversation.
Yep.
He made that interesting. He's making it interesting.
Now, Wolf was walking around here in the last match limping a little bit. I'm not saying that has to do with this. I'm just saying I noticed him walking through here limping a little bit on his ankle. So don't know if that's giving him a problem or not.
Escape just allows him 4-3, 1 point lead.
Back
in on a single.
I like his aqua shoes. I will tell you that. I just thought in basketball they got online and designed their shoes. Apparently it's happening in wrestling now.
I don't know if I'm feeling that.
It's been that way for years. I mean, I remember one of the most devastating. You got nothing out there as a wrestler, maybe a knee pad, and then it's you in a singlet. Shoes are really important to a wrestler, and the ability to sprawl and move around and feel really comfortable in your shoes is important. I remember our coach made us wear our team-issued shoes. Boy, it was the worst match I've ever had. It was the last beginning and end of my team-issued shoe wearing. 4-3.
What's Enck have to do here, guys, to possibly pull a win here?
Well, right now, he's looking like he's starting to get gassed, breathing really heavy. He needs to come out aggressively, as he's done.
That was an explosion off the bottom.
Oh, yep. He just got two here, didn't he?
Not yet.
Oh, he
does now.
Oh, wow. Impressive. I think he was acting tired, and all of a sudden, he was toying with this guy.
He was breathing hard. He still is going to be, but that adrenaline helped him break out. I mean, just because you're deep in breath doesn't mean you're gassed.
Let's face it, it's push through.
Yep.
You hear that in the rooms a lot. You push through the pain, you push through the wall, and take yourself where you didn't think you could go. And he exploded off the bottom there, executed a textbook reversal, and he's in control right now.
That's why wrestling's such a great sport. The ability to push through and to achieve greater things despite how tired you are, despite how physically drained, and knowing how important the next move is and to continue to press. That's such great lessons on life, and no matter what, it's only you out there. You can't point a finger at anybody else. You have to accept responsibility, either work harder or go back and get in better shape.
Fans, like us on Facebook, High School Sports Live. A lot of pictures, a lot of video. You name it, we're doing it. HSS Live TV has rewatches, too, online.
Enck in for another two. 7-5, 2-point lead, 50 seconds to go in the match.
I didn't see this coming the way it was going early.
It's not over until the final whistle, and Enck gaining confidence. Wolf really had a slow match last match as well.
Got a little energy burst there after. I think he heard you talking, George, about him being tired and washed up, and man, he just sent you a.
I didn't say washed up. We've got to get the dictation from these matches before I deal with Charlie again. I said he's breathing hard.
Oh.
And right now,
I want to rewind on replay on that.
Ryan Wolf is the one is really down on the bottom and struggling to get out with 6 seconds to go.
Cale Banks going to get a win here.
He's going to get a win.
Any win that Manheim gets,
a big victory.
It's a big victory.
Yep. We've got right back here at Cumberland Valley Gym, someone you've all just been familiarized with, our former wrestler of the match, Parker Hillard, who really set the tone for Cumberland Valley in his last match. We talked about him being offensive coming out here against Connor Miller, a sophomore, no wins. It looks like Parker Hillard, moving into a near side cradle position, needs to tuck his head in, take his time to secure it. Now trying to trap the leg.
Tell you what, George, you were coaching him in the post game there. It's like you were one of his coaches. He seemed to listen to you at this point.
Well, I mean, I think the kid has a lot of offensive skills. Sometimes it's a matter of gaining confidence. You don't want to put yourself in a bad position, but don't short sell yourself and play defense when you've got a good offense.
Well put.
There he goes. He hooked the leg. Better be careful. Needs to get his hips down. He's safe. Come back over the top. Get his other leg over the top. That's not good. Now he's put himself in a bad position. Stays good, though. After earning 2 back points, giving up 1 escape, Parker Hillard going up in this match 4-1 over Connor Miller from Manheim Central.
Yeah, look at the way these wrestlers are built. Some have bigger legs, smaller arms, bigger arms, smaller legs. Is there an ideal build? Jeremy, you guys, over the years in analyzing wrestlers, is there a certain build that tends to be the build?
I like lanky, but if you look at a Luke Pletcher, a Greater Latrobe, 2-time state champion, has a potential to be a 4-timer. He's about half my height, but his legs are like tree trunks. You look at Chance Marsteller, who was a 4-timer. He was not tall. He was relatively short, yet wrestled 152, 160, 170, but he was built like a fire hydrant. So I think it comes down to technique. I think it comes down to conditioning. Sure, you have your little advantages if you're more lanky than maybe your opponent and you're equal wrestlers. But to me, it still comes down to condition, work you put in, your technique, and I think the most underrated thing is who you're wrestling in the room. Who's your practice partner? I think we see that with Franklin Regional. They have hammers through the bottom of the order all the way up to 160. They all wrestle each other.
Tell you what, it's only the beginning of the second period, and it seems like they've wrestled 2 full periods already. This is the grinder.
Well, Hillard out to an early lead, only giving up an escape.
I don't think this one's going to overtime, though.
No, I don't either. Needs to bring his opponent, Connor Miller, back down to the mat.
Connor Miller's not going away, though, it doesn't seem like. It seems like he's got a little bit in the tank here.
He does.
And I'm sure this is what Troy Sunderland wants to see. He wants to see a guy who entered here 0-11 come out and fight.
Yep.
Because you can teach technique, you can teach all these things. It's tough to teach hard.
I'd add 2 more things to what you say, Jeremy. As you said, practice. I think the better wrestler you become, the more simple it becomes. It's about the creation of angles, the ability to put your opponent in the position you need him to be in to score. And I also think it's about recognizing muscle memory and the ability to react and respond without thinking, because you've been in that situation 10,000 times. Now it's a matter of just my muscle response and reaction, just like any good athlete. The more training and muscle response you have to those unique situations, the more it becomes, without thought, the better wrestler you become.
I agree with that. I just think you want to make it simple, but you also got to generate more than one move, because when you get to a certain level, people game plan, for lack of a better term, game plan for that, can block that. You have to have a B and a C game, or a B-C move that you can go to in those critical matches.
I was telling George before the broadcast that I was talking to Bixler before the broadcast that there was a reason I left wrestling. I actually did a sit-out, and it was a match that I remember being overpowered, but I did a sit-out, and the kid's wrist got caught under my back, and it cracked his wrist. And I saw his little arm hanging and dangling, and I never wrestled again.
Speaking of that, we've got, looks like a knee injury right now from Parker Hillard. Requesting injury time, is obviously in a lot of pain over here on the side. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
You already know your Giant bonus card is a great way to bag real savings on groceries. But it does so much more, like helping you pump up your fuel discount with Gas Extra Rewards. Just by using your Giant bonus card, you'll save 10 cents per gallon for every $100 you spend. So the more you buy, the more you save. Gas Extra Rewards, fueled by Giant.
No regrets. If only she'd parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened, at rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today, because whatever your regrets in life, your insurance company shouldn't be one of them.
Erie Insurance. There's a place where kids really connect to learning. Commonwealth Connections Academy. It's a tuition-free, fully accredited online public school where students find devoted, enthusiastic teachers like never before. Commonwealth Connections Academy, the online public school.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, you two, it's dinner time. When Marcus and Michelle were starting their family, they came to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for their home loan. We're proud we could help Marcus, Michelle, and Mia. If you're looking for an affordable home loan or refinancing option, give us a call. We offer down payment and closing cost assistance too. Call us weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or check our website. We're the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We help home ownership dreams come true.
It's always better when you get to pick your team. That's why I didn't just accept the regional health plan offered at work. I went to a Highmark Direct store and picked a more affordable plan with a broader network, one that I feel better with.
For the most value, you're better with Blue. We're reinventing affordable health care for today and for generations to come. For all you do, you're better with Highmark Blue Shield.
All right, just coming back, we had a major turn of events. Parker Hillard, who was our wrestler of the match, was unable to come back and return as a result of a knee injury. Used up 1:30 of the injury time, therefore had to do an injury default, which results in 6 points for Manheim Central. We hope Parker Hillard is able to recover. Right now we've got a matchup between Connor Pavlik from Manheim Central and Felix Belga. As we know, you better not blink here. Felix Belga is on the mat. Last time against Parkland, finished with a 40-second fall. Right now, quickly with a takedown, double boots in over the top, trying to work a power half. No doubt with the same result in his mind.
Yeah, Felix is a very talented wrestler. He's had some close decisions with some. Last year sticks out Mason Bensel over at during team championships. Was that close to beating a state state place caliber wrestler. It just seems he falls short in a couple of those big matches, but once he gets over that hump, I think you're going to see more and more of it.
A lot of that's all about confidence.
Confidence and mental.
And skills.
Yep.
Yeah, and although the score is 9-0, Manheim Central, the big dog, so to speak, are coming for Cumberland Valley.
And it starts right here with Felix Belga.
It's a good start for Manheim Central. One that was certainly not expected in the last match.
Yeah, and let's not take anything away from Miller. He tied that match at 4.
He did.
Yeah, he did.
So, I mean, there you have a guy who comes in with no wins, and he was battling.
Yep.
That's what you want to see from your team when maybe you don't have a full lineup, or you're a little, you're not to the talent level of the team you're facing.
And Belga's not having his way right now with Manheim Central. Come to wrestle here.
Well, you got to come to wrestle every match. But again, we're talking about this, the fourth match now?
Yep.
The fourth match now.
It's the fourth match.
Yep. A little fatigue may be setting in.
Real quick, a result I did see in the previous round, Exeter's Austin DeSanto beat Charlie Lennox from McDowell 2-1. Charlie Lennox was ranked number 2 in the state, was second in the Power 8 a week ago. Austin DeSanto for Exeter. Keep your eye on this kid moving forward. He beats Charlie Lennox. Austin DeSanto was 7th coming in the state coming in. So going to see a little bit of shift in the state rankings according to PAPowerWrestling.com.
Felix Belga still trying to work this arm across, lace it underneath, get his chest back in decent position. But again, he needs to execute here. I mean, he's now laid with that arm across for about 30, 35 seconds. Needs to lace it and run it.
I think for me, it's now I would almost cut him, take him down, and get him in a different position because obviously the talent level, there's a little bit of a gap. This is just personal preference. What about you, George?
Well, here he goes. Now,
kid's strong enough to just hold his own.
Well, if you can't turn him, you got to start to dominate him and establish your dominance.
Well, he turned him, so
he turned him.
Just took a while.
Now he's got to scoop him and secure both. He's got him in good spot. Yep. He did it tight.
End result.
Finishes with a fall in 3 minutes and 18 seconds of the second period. Felix Belga putting Cumberland Valley on the board, now 9-6.
Ruff Tractor and Equipment is PA's full line equipment dealer representing Case Construction along with other leading manufacturers. Ruff Tractor celebrates its 55th year in business, serving the total sales, rental parts, and service needs of its customers. Ruff Tractor paves the way for your project from start to finish, featuring the latest parts and equipment from Case Construction and more. Ruff also offers 24/7 job site support. Ruff Tractor is your #1 source for everything under construction.
Back at Cumberland Valley Gym. Right now the score 9 Manheim Central, 6 to Cumberland Valley. We've got Kyle Zimmer, a junior from Manheim Central versus Quentin Milliken, a standout wrestler, one who we were debating about with wrestler of the match in the last match. Gets out to a real quick and early takedown. 2-0, now trying to work a tilt. No points earned to this point. Again, 9-6 as a result of an early victory by Manheim Central's Caleb Enck. Then Connor Miller earning an injury default over Parker Hillard. Felix Belga with a fall. Now Quentin Milliken versus Kyle Zimmer.
I think this is where it gets tough for Manheim Central. Right through the meat of Cumberland Valley's order, I expect some separation here. It'll be interesting to see who lines up against Jared Seacrest at 170 or if Seacrest bumps up to 182.
Jeremy, we've been meaning to get to this all match. Talk about some of the highlights of the Beast of the East and or Powerade.
Well, Beast of the East, the highlight to me was Bethlehem Catholic finishing second in that tournament at the Blair Academy. Saw Bethlehem Catholic the week before, King of the Mountain. They won the King of the Mountain the team title, but they struggled a little bit. Only had one champion. Beast of the East stuck out in that they looked totally different, and it was only a week in between. Luke Karam, I think, beat 3 nationally ranked kids to win Outstanding Wrestler for Bethlehem Catholic. Some other guys, Zach Helvin, making it to the finals and really got hit with a 5-point move out of the gate in the finals against Kalitzik, nationally ranked kid from Blair, but only lost 5-3. He came back, got a takedown, and had a shot to tie at the end of the match. Cumberland Valley fared well. Patrick Dugan dropped his finals match. was hard on himself. He was the number 1 seed. He thought he should have won the match, or should have been a match he won. He lost, and I think you're going to see a more aggressive Patrick Dugan from here on out. Powerade last week was just a phenomenal event. Anytime you get to see Franklin Regional, they bounced back from a loss to Bell Vernon, which shocked everybody across the state. But Michael Kemmerer wasn't in the lineup when they lost to Bell Vernon. He was in last week, took care of business, won the title, I believe, at 145. Franklin Regional had 4 titles. Spencer Lee, anytime you get to see Spencer Lee,
special.
It's worth the price of admission. He got an outstanding wrestler. The Luke Pletcher, George Philippi match. George Philippi from Derry area and Luke Pletcher from Greater Latrobe was worth the price of admission in the finals alone at 132. It was a phenomenal match. It rivaled the Cody Weirchuk Chance Marsteller match from a couple years ago. Just great defensive wrestling, bailing out, just a lot of twists and turns. It was only 2-1, but it felt like it was 8-7. So, Franklin Regional is going to be tough. They squeaked out the team title out there over Buchanan, California. Very good team. And Archer, Georgia. It was a phenomenal tournament. I would recommend that anybody goes to the Power. It's one of the best run tournaments I go to, and also just one of the top tournaments as far as talent. Sam Krivas beat Cameron Coy again in a close one, 1-0. Battle of State Champions at 138. There were so many great matches, and the one local note from the Mid-Penn, Josh Colello, I think, ended up 5th for Cedar Cliff. It was the lone placer from Cedar Cliff. But it's just a phenomenal tournament. It's one I will not miss, and that Penn Live won't miss as long as I'm there.
And I followed some of those matches on Flow Wrestling naturally, watching some people close to me. But it's kind of neat seeing that because it's a similar setting, high school gym, mats going at once, and I think that Flow Wrestling is a neat idea. I mean, you can it's kind of hard to do that for other sports, but in wrestling, like you said, you got so many mats going at once. That's a real. I know it's a big business thing that's going on out there, but it allows a lot of family members to watch, and coaches to scout, and players, wrestlers to watch themselves.
Well, one more note from that is Gavin Teasdale. Got a chance to see him. He comes into the wrestling season as a freshman for Jefferson Morgan, ranked number 2 in the country at 106. Struggled in a couple matches, but boy, lightning fast. He's like a spider monkey. He's all over the place. He's not a pinner, but he's a tech fall guy. Definitely another guy worth the price of admission. The problem is people are going to compare him to Spencer Lee coming in, and that's unfair. I made that mistake last week, and after I thought about it for a week, he's the real deal. He's going to make noises at states. Hopefully people don't compare him to, with the hype machine that's out there sometimes. Don't compare him to Spencer Lee. Nobody gets compared to that kid.
Meanwhile, Quentin Milliken going through and establishing a 9-1 lead over Zimmer. Workmanlike.
This will be a 4-point win if it stays 9-1.
It will.
So it's important for Manheim to possibly even keep it a tie just to get some more points here.
Well, not going to do it that way.
Not going to do it that way.
or that way. Milliken looking to try to end this right now. And as you can see, Zimmer even left his arm hang behind. He's out. This is not a good position to be in. If he can scoop it and square his shoulders up, he's going to come back as if he ran a bar here. Now he's going to try. He was going to look like he was going to figure 4 the head. We all know that's not legal. Now squaring back chest to chest. This should do it right here.
Sag back.
Yep. Got to sag back. There he goes. You got to cover the other shoulder. John Felty, our official.
This is
Either way, it's going to be bonus points for Cumberland Valley. Down to 10.
He's
trying
fighting.
to readjust.
He's fighting.
Yep, he's going to make it too. That's the kind of fight you want to see. You don't want to leave your arm hanging and give up a three-pointer at the end of the match, but saving your team 2 bonus points, certainly worth a fight.
We got a good one here. We'll be back for more wrestling on High School Sports Live, sponsored by PHFA, in a few moments.
The Advanced Hoops basketball program has professional skill training. Advanced Hoops is unique as we offer professional point guard and dribbling with Gerald Jarman.
As a former point guard at the University of Richmond, I led one of the greatest upsets ever against Syracuse in 1991. I get more fulfillment out of teaching young athletes the things that I learned and the keys that I learned, both in college and professionally.
Charlie Fortney's shooting instruction is amazing. He's helped many high-level players get a great shooting foundation for the college level.
We're back here at Cumberland Valley's gym in a matchup at 160 pounds with Isaiah Mejas, a sophomore from Manheim Central, versus Jacob Shallis from Cumberland Valley. Shallis out, looks like to an immediate first takedown.
Seems like a common theme in these matches. They've had first takedown in each match.
Looks like Shallis out early again. Mejas, a sophomore, coming in with a 6-8 record. Staying in control right now. Taken down by Shallis. Back to the mat. Shallis working a cross-face cradle, trying to post behind the leg. Looks like he's locked it up. Bringing him back in a good position. Could be a finish here. Is a quick finish. Jacob Shallis, 52 seconds of the first period, with a fall over Isaiah Mejas. We'll be back.
Pack Financial, helping local families build, manage, and protect their retirement savings. Do you have a game plan for retirement? Steve Marazzo is a local advisor who listens and cares. No account too small or too large. Call Steve Marazzo at 717-564-6400 and ask about the free, no-obligation retirement projection.
Back at Cumberland Valley's gym, we're waiting to get the slip here. This is actually a real treat for us to be able to get a matchup between an undefeated Jared Segrist, a junior, coming in with a record of 14-0, versus Patrick Dugan. We all know Patrick Dugan, ranked, I believe, first in the state. It may be a little debatable after last week.
Yes, but he's a 3-time state placer. He's nationally ranked. Definitely, I think Dave Heckert wants to test him.
That's good.
And against a little heavier Jared Segrist, lanky, as we said earlier, somebody who's undefeated. I mean, this could be a real test for Dugan.
And it's a good chance for our audience at home to see 2 quality wrestlers here in a matchup that you may not expect to see at 170. Certainly not where we're going to see Dugan at the end of the year, but something that could really give him a confidence boost and obviously earn some additional points where they might not have been able to in this bout.
Just was told by Athletic Director Mike Craig that the Boiling Springs match with Cumberland Valley, which is the best team in AAA in District 3 and the best team in AA in District 3, is being moved from Boiling Springs to Cumberland Valley to accommodate what they think is going to be a very, very large crowd for that match.
That's going to be one heck of a matchup, and depends upon what our schedule is. Ooh, by the way, nice takedown. Patrick Dugan with a nice dump, very quick, no wasted motion, earns the first 2. But Cumberland Valley, Bowling Springs, backyard rivalry. 2 coaches who are tough, who want to win, who want to establish themselves as the team to beat in their respective classes. Should be one heck of a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Rod Wright is one of my favorite coaches. He's
Mine too.
He's tough. He's brash. He's not afraid to take his team in and have them wrestle against the best competition. And his team this year is loaded and one of the favorites to win the state dual meet title in Class AA. Now that Bethlehem Catholic's moved up.
Well, and they've been around the top. Just try to get over Becca has been something of an insurmountable feat for anybody in that class. Dugan now up 2-0, selects the defensive position to move into the second period. against undefeated Jared Seacrest from Manheim Central. Seacrest, again, a junior. Dugan, 3-time place winner. Someone who obviously wants to step up and wrestle the best competition around, regardless of the weight class. And I respect that of a wrestler.
Absolutely, and he's a 4-time beast placer. I mean, Dugan's done everything except win a state title. And this could be the year for that. It's going to be a loaded weight class, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Shields drops down from 160. Not sure where he's going to really settle in yet, but Dugan's going to have to earn it. That's for sure. It's not going to be It's not going to be an easy task.
Well, and Seacrest long here, getting in on some shots. Dugan showing that he's got strength to get him off of his leg. However, he needs to start to be a little bit more offensive here.
We'll see, and that's what I want to see from Dugan. Big matches. Patrick, a great kid, great wrestler. Just want to see him open up just a little more in big matches. Now, he's given up a significant amount of weight here. So, I mean, it could be a little difficult in that regards.
Don't put yourself in a bad position.
Yeah, just don't put yourself.
But be offensive.
Correct.
A minute to go in the second period. 3-0. Patrick Dugan in on another single. Needs to finish. Takes the low leg. Seacrest long, as we've stated already, with the weight advantage. He's got him locked behind both ankles and knees. It's going to be tough for Dugan to turn the corner here. Referee calling a stalemate, back on their feet. 3-0, 45 seconds remaining in the second period. Good matchup here, though.
Yeah, I'm glad this ended up being. I was skeptical that this was going to happen because, do you bump Dugan up that high to face Seacrest, and risk anything to your best wrestler? But credit to Heckard, credit to Dugan for
winning the match.
For stepping up and doing this.
Well, it sure helped our television, didn't it?
Yep.
And by the same token, for Seacrest, too, he's facing a 3-time state placer. We're not talking 8th. I mean, Dugan's second, I believe, if my memory serves me right. They all run together.
It does.
After a while. But, so, I mean, for him to keep it this close, not get in a bad position as well, was also a confidence builder.
Well, and having a younger brother that's 30 pounds heavier than you,
might be helpful.
It does help. It's a practice guy.
I didn't realize how big Francis Dugan was until I stood next to him. His frame is bigger and has the ability, I think, to put on serious muscle. Not just weight, but strong muscle. He looks like a strong kid, and obviously Patrick's very well built. Proportionate legs to arms.
He almost has that triangle build up top.
See how little, all that was hand control. You can't let guys control your wrists. And all they need is a little space to move out.
Yeah, the good wrestlers are going to take advantage of that.
He got wrist control, created a little space, and faced him. Back on his feet. Now needs to earn a takedown.
Yeah, Seacrest is one move away from making some noise here in the state of Pennsylvania.
Being aggressive as well. Dugan get called for stalling.
Might have been a little quick.
But again, now he's in on a single. The best way to not get called for stalling is to show offense.
To take shot.
Again, it's going to be difficult for him to finish here with...
So long. That length is so difficult.
And that's why as soon as you hit in, you've got to finish. That's the difference between high school and college. The minute you get to those legs, you have to finish before you even stop. You got to make it one continuous
It's hard to tell how much weight Dugan's actually given up here. What do you guys think?
He said about 15, 20 pounds.
I'd say, Dugan weighed in at 154, I believe, or 153, and so I would say he's probably given up He's probably giving up 17 or so.
And again, he's got to be careful. That was certainly something that may...
I thought that was worse than the last one.
Yeah, I do too. Now gets back in on a leg.
And I would say for Seacrest, this is a good match for him too, because after wrestling Dugan, the galoots he's going to be going up against 20 pounds are going to seem like real stiffs compared to Dugan.
Who's got blood time here? We've got blood time. Dugan with a little bit of cut on his eye. I think both wrestlers have a little bit of blood on them. So it's time for cleanup. Blood time right now. Should go quicker. I would not go to a break. We've got how many seconds left? About 20 seconds to go in the match.
Jeremy, on the note of these two guys, Seacrest, what are your thoughts? What's his potential in maybe a state situation this year? What's the potential there for Seacrest?
I think he could be a state qualifier. Obviously, it depends who goes where at the state level, but I think he can definitely get out of districts. As far as winning districts, again, that depends who drops and who settles in. But I like him as a state qualifier, and from there anything can happen. And once you get to Hershey, under the bright lights, that affects people in weird ways. I've seen some
good and bad.
Yeah, I've seen some really good wrestlers kind of wilt a little bit under the bright lights of Giant Center. So
it takes sometimes just one mistake on the mat to change
your
states.
That's it. States, that's it. One mistake.
Or you could have a kid who's got really good ability and good work ethic that really make it through with confidence, who might be hitting stride.
Some people like those bright lights, and they're better under those bright lights. So
Seacrest wanting to get somewhere here.
Well, Troy Sunderland was in his ear during the break telling him, look, you got to go.
Oh, they're battling.
And he forced a stall call.
4 seconds to go. Caution.
Wow.
This match is going to end up 3-2. Solid match for both guys.
Well, that was worth putting this on TV, that match right there.
Dugan earned the takedowns. He deserved to win the match, but wasn't overly impressive in that victory.
Pack Financial, helping local families build, manage, and protect their retirement savings. Do you have a game plan for retirement? Steve Marazzo is a local advisor who listens and cares. No account too small or too large. Call Steve Marazzo at 717-564-6400 and ask about the free, no-obligation retirement projection.
We're back at Cumberland Valley Gym. Right now with Cumberland Valley starting to take a commanding lead through the middle of their lineup. We've got now 2 forfeits back-to-back. The first one coming at 182 pounds. The next one, Francis Dugan at 195. We're now going to be moving into the 220-pound category. It looks like it's Jackson Stanford that's out for Cumberland Valley. Just waiting to get a report of who's out for Manheim Central.
Now, guys, this is the weight class that I should be in, right here. This is if you guys could talk me in to doing it, this is right where I fit.
With that Reese's cup, you might be at 285, Charlie.
You weren't supposed to tell the viewers I was eating a Reese's cup.
I think they know.
We've got for Manheim Central.
We have to say thank you to Cumberland Valley High School.
Elliot Martin, senior, 220-pounder coming in with a record of 6-6. Right now finds himself on his back. Jackson Stanford trying to complete this move.
Almost got it.
Elliot really tried to work hard off his back. Gives up 3, making the match 5-0 instead of the 6-point fall. Now it appears that there is injury time required. Injury time required. I think we'll be right back after this.
From Times Square to your local community, from local sports to international conventions, Invika has changed the broadcast and video landscape, bringing professional quality and service to organizations across the globe. Through professional, college level, and local sports, festivals, competitions, parades, and telethons, conferences, and commercials, Invika is bringing the power of video to more people and markets than ever before. Have a project you need covered? Check out our website for more information. Invika, providing affordable HD video solutions.
We are back here at Cumberland Valley. Short injury timeout taken by Elliot Martin from Manheim Central. He finds himself down 15-0 after those 2 forfeits. Manheim Central now trailing Cumberland Valley 31-9 in the team score. Jackson Stanford out to a 5-0 lead. Uh-oh.
This is where Cumberland Valley, as we said, through the middle there, that's where they give a lot of problems to other District 3 teams.
I have a feeling that this one will not go the distance, Jeremy.
I will not bet against you.
Call me Karnak.
I will not bet against you.
Both guys locking up ear to ear here. Not a lot happening anytime that happens. Wrestlers, if you're out there in that position and you expect to score, don't. You got to get away from the other guy, be face to face, create some space. Ear to ear is not a spot to score. Working on hand control. As time expires at the end of the first period, Jackson Stanford taking a 5-1 lead over at Elliot Martin from Manheim Central.
I would think the bigger the wrestler, the harder to be able to get in shape for these, to go to the distance in these matches, the bigger the body.
Well, they tend to gas a little earlier, but I've seen some heavyweights over the years be in phenomenal shape.
Thomas Haynes.
Thomas Haynes.
Rizzo from Richland. That guy was a freak.
Right now, Stanford reverses. 7-1, gives up an escape. 7-2, minute 40 to go in the second period.
It was actually disappointing to see Rizzo from Richland go to football instead of wrestling. He's a phenomenal wrestler. It was a couple years ago. And mean.
There is professional football.
That's a long shot. Just telling you, that's a long shot.
Yeah, speaking of professional football, I was a little disappointed to hear the Stampede had to shut down. I know Marcus Colston poured his heart into that for several years, brought that to the area, but you know, minor league sports is a tough, you know, unless you're an established Hershey Bears hockey following things. It just seems like minor league sports is tough, you know.
I'll tell you, I've got nothing but the utmost respect for Marcus Colston and what he's done for a lot of the things that we've done to help people in our area. Him, LaShawn McCoy, Jordan Hill. But I'll tell you, I think, you know, he made the right move with taking the Stampede to Hershey in order to try to establish something. I think you need to give it a longer run than he gave it. A little disappointed that it shut down as quickly as it has. The utmost respect for Marcus Colston, but if you're going to make it work, you had to make the move to Hershey with the fan base that's there and trying to promote the team. You also had to have a team that started to win. Last year, one of their worst records, I think they were 4-8 last year as a team. So
how hard is it?
A little bit taken back that he did it so quickly.
Well, you got to remember too, contract time in New Orleans. No one's sure what's going on down there yet. So that had, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it.
Because if you're putting
he had a great career, but longevity in that career is not on your side.
Phenomenal player.
Yeah, and how much is that a distraction, having to run a business and make it work while you're in the middle of a football season? Those seasons are almost parallel with one another, the indoor.
Well, I agree, Joe. I'm just, you know, looking out for the interest of Dauphin County and the region.
Absolutely.
Of course you are.
So anytime you see an investment and a potential opportunity to build quality of life, leave our area,
absolutely.
It's something that you're disappointed by. And we were proud partners with Marcus Colston, who is a fine, phenomenal young man and somebody who we should all look up to. The way he acts. You know, we hear all the bad stuff about people who act out of control in the National Football.
Model.
He lives it, brother, and he's a humble, really, really good man.
And you know what, I'm impressed. He volunteers to be the chairman for the Big 33 with Dave Trimber's outfit, you know, in the Big 33, and he doesn't have to do that. There's a lot of these former NFL or NFL and players that go on that they're busy in their own personal lives. They don't care about giving back till after their career. Here's a guy that's in the prime of his career. I mean, on the phone after football practice with different, parts of. But here, having done a similar thing and putting High School Sports Live together, you need support. You need sponsorship. You need businesses. You need guys out there that are sitting in big chairs that used to be an athlete who know what this whole venue is about and the importance of investing in families, communities, coaches, and whatnot. And that's why we appreciate High School Sports Live, the partners we have. But I can think that Marcus Colson might have felt like that support fell short. It must have had to in the end, or there wasn't enough staff or time to make that work.
And I don't think, from a business perspective, it was panning out to be a great investment, at least initially. So, I mean, those are all decisions that only the person who's engaged and involved and running the operation can make. We were proud to be partners while it lasted, and certainly sad to see it go.
Yep.
How about Elliot Martin here? This is going to go to distance, it looks like. He's proving you wrong there. Keeping it close. He's given up a few takedowns, or a couple takedowns, but he's held his own.
He has. And staying away from any giving up of bonus points.
Manheim has fought in a number of these matches.
They have.
I don't know what the score should be or should have been or whatever, but they've really fought.
Well, besides the injury default, have only won one match outright, but have, given full effort in each one of the matches that I've seen them out here, including this one right up to the end. Elliot Martin with Jackson Stanford. Jackson Stanford, the 7-3 victor right now, giving Cumberland Valley a 34-9 to lead. We will be back in a minute.
Karen has 459 friends, but none of them made sure she got home okay. None of them suggested she skip the next drink, try a glass of water, or maybe just call it a night. Karen has 459 friends. But tonight, what she really needed was one good one.
Okay, we got the Big Daddies here, 285, going at it. In the match, it's 31-9.
Right now we have from Manheim Central, Joseph Griffin, a senior, coming in here at 3-2 versus Jake Black from Cumberland Valley. Jake Black is a junior, coming in here with a 7-4 record.
Guys, let's talk about our 1847 financial wrestler of the match selection. Coming up at the Brenner Family Dealerships post-game show, we're going to be awarding a plaque to that wrestler. Who is it?
To me, it's Patrick Dugan so far. He bumps up 2 weight classes, faced stiffer competition. He's a 152-pounder. It's not like he's bumping from, let's say, 120 to even 132. I'm talking about 18 pounds here. 152 to 170, wrestling a guy who's undefeated, who's ranked in the state, and yeah, it was only a 3-2 decision. Still did what he had to do to get the win.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he was getting beat up too. He got the cut on the face. Sechrist was going at him, headbutting. Not in a negative way, but he was just attacking. But yeah, Patrick Dugan just had an ability to fend him off, but it just looked like it was good. The clock ran out.
Well, I'll tell you, it'll be interesting to see how critical Patrick Dugan is of his own performance. I mean, some of us who have performed well in wrestling and in sports and in life, sometimes your toughest critic. So having him come up here, first of all, with his great accomplishment and hearing what his views were about the match, what he believes is in store for the future, the outlook towards the end of the year, his recent setback that he had at the Beast. So all of those things will be good, and I think deservingly so with the matchups we've had. He's also my selection for the wrestler of the match today as well.
He was really down after Beast, but he lost to a fellow nationally ranked guy. He
Well,
didn't lose to a schlub.
Yeah, I would think when you're at that level, number one's the only thing that makes you happy, and that's why they're so good.
Well, that's
right?
the only way you stay number one, Charlie.
Yeah, that's the only. Oh, it's going to be exciting as it comes down to the wire this year. Jeremy, is there any wrestlers out there that you just kind of like, as the father of wrestling and journalism in this area, you're just kind of like, you want to say to your wrestling kid that you're following, hey, I need you to step it up this year and place higher? Who are some of those kids that you're thinking that, look, you got to do better than what you've been doing? You're better than that. Who are some of those kids out there?
Wow, I mean, that's a tough call because, District 3 lost a lot through graduation. We lost the Garrett Peppelmans. We lost the Chance Marstellers. I think not so much a guy that needs to step up, but I'm looking for Zach Elvin from Central Dauphin.
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, he's had a couple decent runs at states, but I look for him this year maybe to take that next step. I don't by any means think he's underperformed, but he's looked good this year. He finished second at Beast of the East, so he might be a guy to watch come March.
Jake Black looking to put away right now.
That's a tough pin right there, too. Wow.
Yeah. There it is. Pushing Cumberland Valley out now to a 40-9 lead over Manheim Central. We'll be right back with the 106-pound matchup.
High School Sports Live is sponsored in part by The Patriot News, powered by PennLive.com, and by Keystone Tax Associates, a specialized sales and use tax consulting business, and by Sports Recruiters, your vehicle for sports success, sportsrecruiters.com.
We are back at Cumberland Valley Gym now with the lightweights coming out at 106 pounds. 106 pounds we've got for Manheim Central. Manheim Central is Jared Groff. For Cumberland Valley, Russ Zimmerman. Jared Groff, a sophomore.
Zimmerman just got awarded the forfeit.
Oh, we had gotten word that it was going to be Groff versus Zimmerman, but instead we've got back-to-back forfeits, both for Zimmerman and Will Caldees.
Well, if this keeps up, I'll be home for dinner soon. My wife won't be upset tonight.
You don't need dinner after what you ate in here.
They're calling me out here, guys.
And your wife being upset has nothing to do with you being home for dinner.
Only in the wrestling listen, guys, only in the wrestling broadcast can the commentators get away with this kind of commentary. That doesn't happen in our basketball and football broadcasts.
All right, here we go. Matchup at 120. Do we get the sheet yet? It looks like at the 126-pound matchup for Cumberland Valley, we've got J.D. Barrick. For Manheim Central, Ryan McKee. Barrick is a sophomore.
It's a name that has been entrenched in the Cumberland Valley community. Barrick.
McKee, freshman, coming in with 8-7 record. Barrick out with the first takedown, up 2-0, minute 27 remaining.
Jared, speaking of Elvin, Zach, lifeguard at the local pool my kids go to. Good role model, good guy.
Yeah, he's obviously the hammer in that lineup now. Zach along with Tyshawn White. And but actually Central Dauphin's not bad through the lower, all the way through the lower weights. They have a kid by the name of Wright at 106, Jake Cherry's at 13. Some of the other guys have stepped up in that lineup, but Zach Elvins is even ahead of Tyshawn. I think he's just that cut above in that lineup. That continuing of the Central Dauphin run in individual states, I think it's going to come through him. I think Tyshawn will place, but I think Zach Elvin has the best chance of securing a title. Again, I think he's going to stay at 138. I'm pretty sure he is, but which is going to be just an absolutely brutal weight class. So, that's the other problem for him. He's been in weight classes that have been pretty tough. I mean, I'm not a big fan of what wrestling's done by adding an upper weight and taking one away from that middle area there, because I think your best wrestling's in that area.
Keep an eye on this, folks. After 3 points awarded in a near fall, we've got J.D. Barrick now with a near side cradle with it locked up tight. Secures the victory with a pin over Ryan McKee.
You're watching High School Wrestling live on TV, sponsored by the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We'll be back for more after this.
Under a new state law, all electronics must be recycled.
Welcome to the Dauphin County Recycling Center, where recycling is quick, easy, and free.
You may recycle appliances or even cell phones.
We're open 6 days a week, and recycling is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Contact our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or visit our website for more information.
Help us protect our planet, because tomorrow does matter.
Okay, we're back
Up
here.
next, in the final bout of the afternoon, 126 pounds. We've got from Manheim Central Gandy versus Cumberland Valley's Long. Wyatt Long. Wyatt Long coming in 13-3, impressive earlier. Wyatt Long in for the early 2.
Keeps improving as a wrestler. I see him and Kyle.
Don't take your
Reichert,
eye off of it. I think this is going to end here real quick.
Him and Kyle Reichert, I think, have really stepped up and have really progressed quicker than anyone in this.
There it is.
And that's it.
All right, when we come back, we're going to have the 1847 financial wrestler match. That's going to be Patrick Dugan. Don't go away. We have a state placer coming up. We're going to have an interview. George is going to talk to him about his prospects this year and how the match went, and also about his finish at the Beast of the East. And Jeremy Elliott, we want to thank you for joining us. We're going to be sending Jeremy Elliott Penn Live. Follow his stuff. Again, we'll be back. High School Sports Live right after this.
No regrets. If only she parked in a garage. If only they had the chimney cleaned. If only they had Erie Insurance. Erie is seriously good insurance that treats you fairly and goes above and beyond to make you feel like your auto or home mishap never happened, at rates that'll save you as much as the other guys. So get a quote from Erie today, because whatever your regrets in life, your insurance company shouldn't be one of them.
Erie Insurance. There's a place where kids really connect to learning. Commonwealth Connections Academy. It's a tuition-free, fully accredited online public school where students find devoted, enthusiastic teachers like never before. Commonwealth Connections Academy, the online public school.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, you two, it's dinner time. When Marcus and Michelle were starting their family, they came to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for their home loan. We're proud we could help Marcus, Michelle, and Mia. If you're looking for an affordable home loan or refinancing option, give us a call. We offer down payment and closing cost assistance too. Call us weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or check our website. We're the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We help home ownership dreams come true.
It's always better when you get to pick your team. That's why I didn't just accept the regional health plan offered at work. I went to a Highmark Direct store and picked a more affordable plan with a broader network, one that I feel better with.
For the most value, you're better with Blue. We're reinventing affordable health care for today and for generations to come. For all you do, you're better with Highmark Blue Shield.
From Times Square to your local community, from local sports to international conventions, Invika has changed the broadcast and video landscape, bringing professional quality and service to organizations across the globe. Through professional, college level, and local sports, festivals, competitions, parades, and telethons, conferences, and commercials, Invika is bringing the power of video to more people and markets than ever before. Have a project you need covered? Check out our website for more information. Invika, providing affordable HD video solutions.
Hey guys, just in time.
When Julie wanted to provide some stability for her two boys, she reached out to the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency for her home loan. We're proud we could help Julie and her family. If you're looking for an affordable home loan or refinancing option, give us a call. We offer down payment and closing cost assistance too. Call us weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or check our website. We're the Pennsylvania Housing Finance Agency. We help home ownership dreams come true.
We're back at Cumberland Valley High School. The second part of the doubleheader, Cumberland Valley defeats Manheim Central because of some of the things this young man, Patrick Dugan, did. The Brenner Family Dealerships postgame show has a special treat here. We have a plaque we want to present to Patrick Dugan, and as I can see, as the fans at home can see, you've earned it, Patrick, and you can talk about that in a little.
Right.
The wrestler of the match is presented by 1847 Financial. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
George, talk to this guy about wrestling, some of the things you saw.
Well, Patrick, you moved up to wrestle a kid who was undefeated today. First of all, I want to commend you on the heart that you showed to move up. And we talked about earlier, so, going from 106 to 113, maybe giving up a couple pounds, but from 52 to 70, you might be giving up 18 pounds.
Yeah.
Tell me how that affected that match.
I mean, with the weight training I've been doing and everything, it wasn't really an issue strength-wise and everything. It was just a lot more weight to move around. And I've been losing weight since the beginning of the season, but I don't know, just keep wrestling hard, keep going after it. Don't worry about how big they are. I mean, I wrestle good guys all the time. I wrestle the hardest I can in the room, so I'm not worried about that.
How much does going up against your bigger younger brother have to do with your ability to throw that kind of strength around?
I mean, he's tough, so it's a lot more weight than that guy. He's 195. He's a big guy. I can still get the better of him, but, he's talented, he's tough, and he gives me a run for my money in the room. He's a good partner.
Well, being a champion, being somebody who has first in your sight, I know you've been close. Yeah. There's not too much you haven't accomplished, but winning a state title is one that's eluded you so far. I know you've worked hard, placed yourself in better position, made some decisions about where you want to be weight class-wise. Tell us what we can expect from Patrick Dugan throughout the rest of the season as we go towards the state title.
Well, I mean, in the past with everything, especially at state tournament, BCs, I've always I would wrestle till that final match, and I'd kind of be a little conservative when I get there, and obviously it hasn't worked out, so, I mean, I'm just going to be going the whole time. I want to be training hard, just giving it everything I got. I don't want to leave any regrets out on the mat. I just want to, go out there, do everything I possibly can, and then, if I lose, the guy outclassed me. He was just better.
Well, from a wrestling fan, somebody who's a part of this fraternity, I've had a lot of real joy watching you and seeing you complete those big matches. I know it's in there.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is going to be the year you get that state title. I wish you all the success and all the team success after the Boyertown loss. Looks like you guys have turned it around today. Give us a little sense about team piece, because you're going to be facing Bowling Springs coming up here, who's the best in their class. I hear they moved it from Bowling Springs into this building.
Yeah, we got
Tell us about that.
A lot more people coming than we expected, so we had to move it to Cumberland Valley, bigger venue. But, I mean, I think we're going to be ready for them. I know they're tough. They got a good coach, good program. But, I don't know, CV's always been the top, and we're going to try to keep that, AA or AAA.
I have one thing I want to ask your brother wrestling with you. What's that like? Talk to the viewers at home about, okay, you have a chance to have a season together.
Yeah.
How's that? How is that?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had really a season together since middle school. I mean, elementary, and maybe little club teams and all that. So, I mean, it's a cool experience because I guess he's always kind of looked up to me, and I've always wrestled around with him, taught him and stuff, and now I can see, him producing and doing work out there. So it's kind of cool.
Well, listen, Patrick, congratulations, and we'll let you get back to your team. Coach Hecker probably has some things to say before the next one.
You got one more yet with McDowell, right?
Yep.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Take it the whole way to the state title. We'll be cheering you.
We do have one more. We do have one more thing.
Yeah.
We have a move of the match. Okay, we want to take a look at this right now. Tell us what's happening here.
Looks like we're hand fighting, and there's a dump. I mean, I just straight double. His arm was down. Just grabbed onto that, dumped him.
And in a match,
is that not me?
No, that's not you.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what?
What? I was gonna say I don't remember doing that.
You didn't.
I'll tell you what.
Been a little bit farther.
After a long afternoon, look at this face. This kid's been through a lot. That we needed that chuckle. Again, Patrick Dugan, wrestler, 1847 wrestler of the match. We'll be back after this.
Chrysler, Jeep, Nissan, Pre-Owned. The Brenner family of dealerships is proud to support High School Sports Live. And we've been serving Central PA for over 93 years. We have everything that you're looking for. Great customer service, great pricing and selection, an excellent service department for the life of your vehicle. All at the Brenner family of dealerships on the Carlisle Pike Mechanicsburg and on Paxton Street, Harrisburg. 24/7 at BrennerFamily.com. Serving Central PA for over 93 years.
Under a new state law, all electronics must be recycled.
Welcome to the Dauphin County Recycling Center, where recycling is quick, easy, and free.
You may recycle appliances or even cell phones.
We're open 6 days a week, and recycling is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Contact our helpful staff at the Recycling Center or visit our website for more information.
Help us protect our planet, because tomorrow does matter.
There's a place where kids really connect to learning. Commonwealth Connections Academy. It's a tuition-free, fully accredited online public school where students find devoted, enthusiastic teachers like never before. Commonwealth Connections Academy, the online public school.
We're back at Cumberland Valley, wrapping up the doubleheader. The Parkland Trojans lost to Cumberland Valley 37-17, and then Cumberland Valley had their way with Manheim Central
64-9.
64-9. The highlight of the Cumberland Valley Manheim Central match was a gutsy matchup. Credit both coaches for putting Cumberland Valley for putting Patrick Dugan up against Jared Segrist, an 18-pound difference. Patrick Dugan didn't disappoint. Segrist showed some toughness against the quicker, more established Patrick Dugan. But George, talk to us about how this puts it in perspective for Cumberland Valley in their season, because they did have a disappointing loss, and Jeremy Elliott was talking about earlier in the season. 4-0, looks like they're probably going to be 5-0 here. Talk about how this gets them going.
Well, first of all, can we have a better day? I mean, it's raining outside, it's cold, football's getting ready to start, and we just had a chance to bring to you live wrestling, some top-ranked teams in the state, and some great storylines. We saw some great wrestling today. We saw Cumberland Valley, after some questions related to an earlier loss against Boyertown, reestablish themselves with a perennial power in Parkland. They made it very clear today, Cumberland Valley's back, and they are the head of the District 3 class. They also came out here in a tight match, and as you said, with a matchup at 170, even were successful with Patrick Dugan against an undefeated Jared Segrist from Manheim Central. But make no mistake about it, folks, after a very tough time in the tournaments, from Powerade to Beast of the East to holiday tournaments, with Boiling Springs coming into this gym next week, with AA, AAA supremacy on the line, and with Cumberland Valley having a lot to prove and taking steps to do that today, this wrestling season is going to prove to be another great one in District 3, and we're just proud that we're able to bring it to you. Thank you to our sponsors. The folks here are still rocking in Cumberland Valley Gym, and we're grateful that we've been able to bring this live action to you today. Thanks to the sponsors, to the audience at home. Good luck watching the NFL football game. Go Steelers.
And our next broadcast is going to be a basketball game between Central Dauphin and Central Dauphin East at 6:30 on Tuesday, January 6th coming up. And then we have our next wrestling broadcast is January 8th. It'll be Lower Dauphin at Cedar Cliff. That should be a good one. From our team at High School Sports Live and Vica Promotions, live from Cumberland Valley, have a good night, everyone.
Happy New Year.